Chapter 51:14. Xiang Zhili and the other two's core condensation was not completed in the Imperial Thunder sect, but during their experiential training. In addition, the three had been refining the dragon transformation art since they were young and cultivated the secret arts left behind by Xiaohua. When they returned to the Imperial Thunder sect, they had already concealed their realms. Apart from the disciples of the Myriad Thunder Valley, Master Qian Lazy, Fairy Yao Feng, and Thunder Meng Daoist, no one knew that the three had already reached the Gold Core stage. After the three returned to the Myriad Thunder Valley, they hurriedly reported and immediately went into seclusion in the Mo Mountains. They only came out after 10 years. Because the three's progress was really shocking, whether it was Zhuanghu, Yan Qinglian, or Dui Qimeng, they were all worried that something would happen to the three's cultivation. When they came out, the three mothers immediately called them to their side and prepared to check their cultivation. But contrary to the three mothers' expectations, the three objected in unison and refused to let them check, saying that it was Master Qian Lazy, Thunder Meng Daoist, and Fairy Yao Feng's idea. Not to mention Wu Qing's unchanging expression, just from Cui Yingying's evasive words and Xiang Zhili's slightly raised eyebrows, the three mothers knew that it was not the three nascent soul masters' idea. But seeing the three's stable realms and high spirits, they also knew that the three must have had a fortuitous encounter. So, they simply did not ask and urged the three to report back to the three nascent soul masters. Xiang Yang and the others did not know how the three nascent soul masters reacted, but after returning from the nascent soul masters, the three began to restrain their sharpness. They either cultivated in their own cave in the Myriad Thunder Valley, gathered in the cave left behind by Xiaohua, or went to the 8 great thunder palaces to read secret arts. Of course, most of the time, they went out for experiential training. In the end, even Xiang Yang and the others did not know the specific cultivation of Xiang Zhili, Wu Qing, and Cui Yingying. 100 years ago, when the three were experiential training, they suddenly received an urgent message from Master Qian Lazy and rushed back to the Imperial Thunder sect. Without kowtowing to the masters of the Myriad Thunder Valley, they directly went to the Great Thunder Hall. Then, Master Qian Lazy took them into a secret room. After a year, the three returned to the Myriad Thunder Valley. After a simple report to the masters, they went to the depths of the Mo Mountains to cultivate in seclusion. Xiang Yang and the others did not know the specific reason and location. After that, Master Qian Lazy failed to transcend his tribulation and perished. The Imperial Thunder sect changed its sect master, and so on. The three of them didn't know anything about it either. 100 years of seclusion was enough for many people to forget about the arrogant three elites of the 10,000 Thunder Valley. Many people even thought that the three of them had died. Only the teachers of the 10,000 Thunder Valley would go to the Jade Archive Hall every year to ask Zhen Qing to tell them about the situation of the three elites' natal spirit tablets. Therefore, although Xiang Yang did not know how powerful the three of them were, he was clear that if the three of them were not in closed-door cultivation, the situation in the Myriad Thunder Valley would be much better and Zhen Shituo would not have been injured so badly. Xiang Yang did not withdraw his gaze from the depths of the Mo mountain range. From the corner of his eyes, he saw a figure flying over from afar. Wasn't that Cui Hongshan? Cui Hongshan's appearance was still the same as before, but he was a little older than before. The affairs of the Thunderflash Hall were much more taxing than cultivation. Although Cui Hongshan handled these affairs with ease, it was not only for his own future, but also for the status of the 10,000 Thunder Valley. It was inevitable that he would spend more effort. Therefore, even though he had the bloodline of the true spirit, he still did not have outstanding achievements in cultivation. Now, his cultivation was only at the late stage of the Gold Core realm. Junior brother Cui. Seeing Cui Hongshan flying over, Xiang Yang hurriedly flew out and greeted him. With some anxiety on his face, he asked anxiously, "How's the situation?" Alas! Cui Hongshan habitually frowned and sighed. The Thunderflash Palace has more than 40 palace branches, and my 10,000 Thunder Valley is only ranked in the top 20. There shouldn't be any problem. Hearing Cui Hongshan's sigh, Xiang Yang's heart tightened and his expression changed slightly. After hearing the last part, he came to his senses and could not help but smile. He patted Chui Hongshan's shoulder and said with a smile, "You really know how to make fun of your elder brother." Ah. Chui Hongshan also smiled and said, "Senior brother, please forgive me. Am I not also trying to find joy in the midst of hardship?" "Alas, that's right." Xiang Yang stopped smiling and sighed like Chui Hongshan. He echoed, "Ever since we received the sect master token for the 100 Palace competition, we have been worried. Now we can finally put our hearts at ease. Come, follow me to see master's wife." Without waiting for Xiang Yang to finish speaking, Zhuo Hongshan's voice sounded behind him. "Hongshan, how's the situation?" Chui Hongshan naturally did not dare to joke with Zhuo Hongshan. He hurriedly bowed and said, "Reporting to master's wife, my 10,000 Thunder Valley is ranked 23rd in the Thunder Flash Palace's 100 Palace competition. We should be in the middle." Now, the rankings of the various palace branches have been sent to Thunder Flash Peak's Thunder Flash Hall, waiting for sect master's decision. However, based on the rankings alone, my 10,000 Thunder Valley is definitely not on the list to be cleaned up. That's good, that's good." Zhuo Hongshan finally heaved a sigh of relief. She patted her chest and said, "If the 10,000 Thunder Valley is cleaned up, I don't know how to explain it to your master." "Don't worry, master's wife." At this moment, Dui Qiming, who was beside Zhuo Hongshan, said with a smile, "My 10,000 Thunder Valley has so many golden core cultivators. We're much stronger than the other palace branches. How can we be cleaned up?" After the teachers finished speaking, the younger disciples also came over to pay their respects. Fang Liha and the others bowed and said, "Greetings to master, greetings to martial uncle." Jin Quan and the others greeted. "Everyone, get up." Chui Hongshan was in a very good mood. He took out a storage pouch and handed it to Fang Liha, saying, "These are some elixirs. Distribute them to the disciples." "Yes, disciple understands." Fang Liha took the storage pouch and looked at it. He distributed the elixirs inside equally to Jin Quan and the others without any bias. After Fang Liha distributed the elixirs, Chui Hongshan looked at Jin Shituo in the distance. He took out a jade bottle from his chest and handed it to Jin Quan, saying, "Jin Quan, I saw Shituo risking his life on the Thunder Flash field just now. I'm afraid his Dao foundation has been damaged. This is my collection of elixirs. Give it to Shituo." Zhen Quan hurriedly replied, "Thank you, Martial Uncle. Martial Uncle Dui has already given me elixirs." "Oh, that's good." Chui Hongshan nodded and smiled at Dui Qiming. He handed the jade bottle to her and said, "You must have the last elixir. I'll give this to you." "I don't want it." Dui Qiming pouted and said, "I've always been in the Myriad Thunder Valley and didn't go out. This elixir can't be used. You should keep it for yourself." "All right." Chui Hongshan smiled and took the jade bottle, saying, "Senior brother Zhao's elixir is really good. It's better than the elixirs refined by the best alchemist in my Thunder Shocking Palace. Having this elixir on me is equivalent to having an extra life." "Junior brother Chui." Xiang Yang smiled and said, "Go back and ask Qian Diheng. He often has some elixirs in his Chamber of Commerce. Forget it." Chui Hongshan looked around and said with a bitter smile, "Qian Diheng sent some elixirs to master's wife last time. After returning, he was scolded by Kuang Tian. It is said that he was even locked up. Little brother, it's better not to cause trouble for him." Dui Qiming raised her eyebrows and said in a low voice, "Senior Kuang Tian is really unreasonable. According to Qian Diheng, his Chamber of Commerce was originally opened by him and Senior Brother Xiao. Although Senior Brother Xiao is no longer around, but it also has something to do with my Myriad Thunder Valley. He has no reason to—" "Shoo!" Xiang Yang heard and hurriedly motioned for Dui Qiming to shut up. He said, "Junior sister, don't mention this again. Although Senior Kuang Tian has a problem with my Myriad Thunder Valley, he didn't use his power to bully others like the other disciples. Qian Diheng has been good to my Myriad Thunder Valley. Although he didn't dare to come over openly, he usually went to look for Junior Brother Chui and helped my Myriad Thunder Valley a lot. It's been a few hundred years, it's really hard for him." Dui Qiming was unconvinced and said, "During the Battle of Dao and Sword, he fell into Sky Patrol City. How could it be related to our senior brother Xiao? They obviously wanted to find a scapegoat. Qiming. Seeing that Dui Qiming had said too much, Cui Hongshan scolded. This is something that happened a few hundred years ago. Who still remembers it now? Don't mention it again in the future. How can we know about Senior Nascent Soul's abilities? If he knows about it, it'll be bad for my myriad Thunder Valley. Dui Qiming saw that Cui Hongshan was angry and didn't dare to say anything. Xiang Yang asked, Junior brother Cui, it seems that the next battle should be for the Palace Master of the Heavenly Thunder Palace, right? It's said that Kuang Tian is determined to get the Palace Master position? Cui Hongshan nodded and said, That's right. Senior Kuang Tian was originally a direct disciple of the Heavenly Thunder Palace. Before the Battle of Dao and Sword, he had advanced to the Nascent Soul realm. After more than 700 years of cultivation, he has now reached the middle stage Nascent Soul realm. Not only did he make contributions in the Battle of Dao and Sword, but he also cultivated the Thunder Escape technique. It's said that he has now reached the realm of Thunder Escape, second only to Senior Qian Lazy's Thunder Imperial Transformation. Although the Thunderclap Palace still has the Rumbling Thunder Palace's Palace Master Qian Qingzi, the Diligent Thunder Palace's Palace Master Qian Fengju, and a senior named Swift Wind Spiritual Master, they are all at the peak of the early stage Nascent Soul realm and have not reached the middle stage Nascent Soul realm. If there are no accidents, Kuang Tian will become the Palace Master of the Heavenly Thunder Palace. I hope that after Kuang Tian becomes the Palace Master of the Heavenly Thunder Palace, he won't harm my myriad Thunder Valley. Zhuo Hongshan's heart tightened as he said in a low voice. Don't worry. Cui Hongshan said with a smile, this disciple is already so busy being the Deputy Palace Master of the Rumbling Thunder Palace. If he becomes the Palace Master of the Heavenly Thunder Palace, why would he care about my little myriad Thunder Valley? On the contrary, that Qian Diheng will definitely gain a lot of power in the future. He will be able to take care of my myriad Thunder Valley even more. Ha! When Cui Hongshan said this, everyone seemed to be able to see Qian Diheng's complacent look and couldn't help but laugh. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please go to Qidian to subscribe to support, vote for a monthly vote, vote for a recommendation vote, bookmark, tip, and thank you for all forms of support. Chapter 51:15. Afterwards, Cui Hongshan asked some questions about the disciples, bowed to Zhuo Hongshan, and left in a hurry. Clearly, he was taking advantage of this moment to report to Master's wife that there were still many things to be done at the Thunder Plain. Hee, since junior brother Cui said it's fine, then it's really fine. Yan Qinglian watched Cui Hongshan leave with a smile. This was a false alarm. Alas, it's all thanks to this child. Zhuo Hongshan also looked at Cui Hongshan's back and sighed. Working hard alone in the Thunder Flash Hall. Xiang Yang nodded. Yes. This disciple is unworthy and can't contribute to the myriad Thunder Valley. We can only rely on junior brother Cui. Hearing this, Dui Qiming hurriedly said, Master's wife, don't praise him too much. He also treats our myriad Thunder Valley as his home, that's why he works so hard. He often says that he's Master's wife's child. If he doesn't contribute to the myriad Thunder Valley, who else can he contribute to? Zhuo Hongshan smiled slightly. She already understood Dui Qiming very well. She knew that she might be a little narrow-minded, a little show-off, or a little concerned about her own disciples, but she did have the myriad Thunder Valley in her heart. As the eldest sister-in-law, Yan Qinglian also had the demeanor of a sister-in-law and never fought with Dui Qiming for anything. Of course, Dui Qiming also respected Yan Qinglian. The myriad Thunder Valley could be considered a very harmonious home. If such a harmonious palace branch was cleaned up, then the heavenly Tao would be blind. Zhuo Hongshan thought to herself, then said something to Dui Qiming and Yan Qinglian. She quietly waited for the thunder plane to be put away and prepared to watch Kuang Tian display his might and obtain the position of Palace Lord of the Heavenly Thunder Palace. Sure enough, it was only the cultivation method of a single meal. The lightning ball formed by the thunder arena began to gradually retract its brilliance, turning into a huge irregular shape. Then, it let out a deafening rumble as it gradually sank. At the same time, Tens of thousands of light sheets stretched out from the bottom of the thunder arena like flowers blooming, reaching towards the various palace branches. Xiang Yang and the rest understood that this was to welcome the shocking Thunder Palace's disciples to the Thunder Arena in preparation for the battle for the position of Heavenly Thunder Palace's Palace Master. It's been a long time since I've seen a nascent soul senior fight. Yan Qinglian looked at Zhuo Ying and said with a smile, if we can comprehend something from the fight, it should be very helpful for us to step into the nascent soul stage. Zhuo Hongwu replied, my lifespan is already nearing its end. I'm afraid I won't be able to wait until the day I step into the nascent soul realm. You all still have a chance. In a moment, you must properly comprehend it. If my myriad Thunder Valley were to produce a nascent soul disciple, who would dare to look down on my myriad Thunder Valley? Speaking of nascent soul cultivators, Xiang Yang couldn't help but think of Xiao Hua. Junior brother, back then. However, Xiang Yang only said 5 words and didn't say anything else. So what if Xiao Hua was a nascent soul cultivator back then? He has not appeared for nearly 1,000 years. Who knows whether Xiao Hua is alive or dead? Aside from the myriad Thunder Valley, who could still remember the myriad Thunder Valley disciple who shook the Sword Dao battle back then? Xiang Yang had always called Xiao Hua junior brother and Cui Hongshan junior brother Cui. At first, Dui Qiming felt very awkward when she heard it, but later, she got used to it. She knew that Xiang Yang was reminiscing about Xiao Hua and spoiling him. Moreover, Xiao Hua had indeed rendered meritorious service to the myriad Thunder Valley and was her and Cui Hongshan's savior, so she didn't fuss about it anymore. At this moment, she even said with a smile, although senior brother Xiao is a nameless nascent soul cultivator, I heard from Hongshan that senior brother Zhao's strength has reached the nascent soul stage, but in reality he isn't. In other words, my myriad Thunder Valley has never produced a nascent soul cultivator. I wonder who will become the first nascent soul cultivator? Junior sister is right. Yan Qinglian smiled and said, if we're talking about my myriad Thunder Valley's first nascent soul cultivator, it will undoubtedly be junior brother Cui. If he didn't work hard for my myriad Thunder Valley, I'm afraid he would have already become a nascent soul. Xiang Yang also nodded and said, that's right. Junior brother Cui's aptitude is beyond my reach. The first nascent soul cultivator will definitely be him. A smile appeared on Dui Qiming's face. She understood that Cui Hongshan had already secretly told her before the new year that his long-dormant late-stage gold core cultivation had begun to show signs of loosening. If everything went smoothly, they would be able to see the results within 10 years. Seeing Dui Qiming stop talking and reveal a rare smile, how could everyone who understood Dui Qiming not know that Cui Hongshan's cultivation had improved? Thinking that a nascent soul cultivator would soon appear in the myriad Thunder Valley, all of their previous worries would turn into nothingness. Everyone couldn't help but feel happy. However, at this moment, a gust of wind whistled in the distance. Cui Hongshan, who had just left, unexpectedly flew back with a deathly pale face. What happened? Seeing Cui Hongshan in such a sorry state, Zhuo Hongshan's heart suddenly jolted. As if he had a premonition, he shouted, Hongshan is my myriad Thunder Valley master's wife. Cui Hongshan's figure stopped, and his face flushed red. He seemed to be out of breath. He adjusted his breathing slightly before saying, don't panic. Disciple just heard a piece of news. What news? Speak quickly. Zhuo Hongshan urged. Disciple heard that Black Thunder Hall has 2 lists of palace branches to clean up. One was drawn up long ago. It's just some palace branches in name. The other one is the list of the 100 palace competition. Cui Hongshan said with some sorrow, and my myriad Thunder Valley is in the first list. Damn it. Even an honest person like Xiang Yang couldn't help but curse in a low voice. If that's the case, why is my myriad Thunder Valley still participating in the 100 palace competition? The important thing is to participate. Cui Hongshan bit his lips and said in a low voice, if the first list had been announced long ago, many palace branches wouldn't have fought with their lives on the line. Hongshan, are you sure about this news? Zhuo Hongshan took a deep breath and asked. Cui Hongshan hesitated for a moment. He didn't shake his head or nod and replied, Disciple doesn't know, but there's no smoke without fire, master's wife. Xiang Yang hurriedly asked. Disciple remembers that sect Master Qian Lazy personally said that the name of Myriad Thunder Valley would never be removed. That was then, and this is now. Zhuo Hongshan sighed. Back when Xiao Hua was expelled from Imperial Thunder Sect, Sect Master Xian Hua was reprimanded by Sect Master Qian Lazy. When everyone heard this, they fell silent for a moment. No one wanted to say anything. After working hard for more than a month and paying so much, several disciples were even willing to throw away their lives. But what did they get in return? An ending that had been arranged long ago? Cui Hongshan. Dui Qiming stole a glance to the left and asked in a low voice, if Myriad Thunder Valley's name is removed, how will the disciples be dealt with? Cui Hongshan didn't understand why Dui Qiming wanted to send him a voice transmission. He looked at her with some confusion and replied, according to the rules of the 100 Halls contest, we will be merged into the other halls of Thunderous Palace. Which hall? Dui Qiming pressed, don't tell me you don't care. AI, is there even a need to say it? Cui Hongshan didn't want to be pushed too hard and replied, Thunderous Palace is guarded by Myriad Thunder Valley and Thousand Thunder Mountain. My Myriad Thunder Valley will definitely be sent to Thousand Thunder Mountain. That's what I thought. Dui Qiming said, Thousand Thunder Mountain's Jianghu isn't someone easy to deal with. If my Myriad Thunder Valley's disciples fall into his hands, it won't bode well for us. Husband, I remember you once said that the Deputy Hall Master of Thunderous Palace can let his disciples merge into Thunderous Palace. Without waiting for Dui Qiming to finish, Cui Hongshan's expression changed, and he said angrily, what are you trying to say? Don't tell me you want to merge into Thunderous Palace? My Myriad Thunder Valley's disciples should go through thick and thin together. At this moment, how can you think of escaping first? Dui Qiming smiled bitterly and transmitted, Husband, how can I not think for Myriad Thunder Valley? I'm also willing to go through thick and thin with Master's wife and senior martial brother. But if we fall into Thousand Thunder Mountain, we will definitely be sent to guard the edge of Thousand Thunder Mountain's Thunder Abyss. From then on, our cultivation won't be able to progress. Don't say any more. Cui Hongshan said coldly, this Cui will definitely not be separated from Master's wife and the rest. Do you have the heart to let Yingying guard Thousand Thunder Mountain for the rest of her life? Be a golden core cultivator like us for the rest of her life? Dui Qiming was also a little anxious and said, if you don't want to be separated from Master's wife and the rest, I can accompany you. But can I trouble you to send your daughter to Thunderous Palace? Cui Hongshan was at a loss for words. He understood that as the Deputy Palace Master of Thunderous Palace, he naturally didn't need to guard Thousand Thunder Mountain. However, if Cui Yingying was sent to Thousand Thunder Mountain, she would have to listen to Zhen Yu's arrangements. How could Zhen Yu tolerate a Myriad Thunder Valley disciple being pregnant? He would definitely send Cui Yingying, Wu Qing, and even Xiang Zhili to the deepest part of Thousand Thunder Mountain to guard. Thinking about it, how could Cui Yingying peacefully be pregnant under the bombardment of Thousand Thunder Mountain? Darling Cui, Dui Qiming advised again, think about it again. If we go to Thunderous Palace first, won't the Myriad Thunder Valley only be left with senior martial brother, Master's wife, and Wu Qing? When there's a chance in the future, we'll go find Thunder Meng's spiritual master. Presumably, he won't watch Xiang Zhili guard Thousand Thunder Mountain, right? As long as we avoid this storm and move senior martial brother and Master's wife into Thunderous Palace, wouldn't that be enough? Thunder Meng's spiritual master. Hearing Dui Qiming mention Thunder Meng's spiritual master, Cui Hongshan's eyes brightened. He couldn't be bothered to transmit to Dui Qiming anymore and said to Zhua *****, Master's wife, quickly, let's go find Thunder Meng's spiritual master. Yes. Zhua ***** also seemed to have woken up from a dream and cried out, how could I be so stupid? Leaving the Thunderous Palace Master and not asking for help, could it be that we're just going to sit here and wait for death? Cui Hongshan. Dui Qiming was somewhat angry and cried out, did I say all that for nothing? Qiming. Cui Hongshan said somewhat apologetically, you're right. For Yingying, we can do that. However, don't forget, without everyone, where would there be a small family? Without myriad Thunder Valley, we'll be drifters wherever we go. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please subscribe to it at Qidian, vote for it, give it a tip, and Chapter 51:16. After saying that, Cui Hongshan turned his head and urged Xiang Yang, "Quick, senior martial brother, let's go with mistress to find Reverend Lei Meng. If we wait for the purge list to come out, it would be too late." "Alright." Xiang Yang turned and ordered, "You wait here, master, and I will go find Master Look." Without waiting for Xiang Yang to finish, Zhen Quan's face turned pale. He pointed at the Thunder Arena and said, "The elimination list seems to have come out so fast?" Xiang Yang was shocked and hurriedly looked in the direction Zhen Quan was pointing. After seeing it clearly, Xiang Yang's face was as pale as everyone else's. On the Thunder Arena, a light screen about 100 zhang in size appeared. It looked like a flag and a scroll. Lightning flickered on the light screen. Huge words were written like thousands of ink brushes at the same time. The names of more than 10 palaces flickered with different lightning as they were displayed in front of the disciples of Seismic Thunder Palace. The 3 words Myriad Thunder Valley were actually at the top of the list. Boom! Once the list came out, thousands of disciples of Seismic Thunder Palace shouted. Some were happy because they were lucky to escape, while others were sad because they had fallen into the elimination list. Not waiting for the nearby shouts to subside, rumble! Another rumbling sound rang out, and another light screen was unveiled. An enormous lightning bolt, like an ink brush, began to write on it. The 100 Halls contest for the ranking of Thunder Palace. Immediately, more disciples of Seismic Thunder Palace began to shout and shout. Everyone looked at the light screen in excitement. Each palace wanted to see their own ranking. To go or not to go? Seeing that the situation was set, Xiang Yang hesitated and asked Zhuo Hongshan in a low voice. Zhuo Hongshan bit his lips until they turned white. He was also hesitant. At this time, Cui Hongshan said loudly, "Mistress, don't hesitate. If we don't go, our myriad Thunder Valley will definitely be merged into 1,000 Thunder Mountain. If we go, our myriad Thunder Valley may have a chance to survive. Since we have already fallen into a desperate situation, there is no worse outcome than this. What are we afraid of?" "We are naturally not afraid of anything," Xiang Yang said in a low voice. "But if we go find Thunder Meng Reverend, wouldn't we be provoking conflict between him and Fairy Xianhua?" "Eldest senior brother," Cui Hongshan grumbled, "why are you as indecisive as senior brother Xiao? We have already fallen into such a predicament, and Lei Meng Reverend is our last straw of hope. If we don't beg him, who else can we beg? Think about it, if Li was here, what would he do?" Yan Qinglian narrowed her eyes and said, "Li will definitely rush to Thunder Meng Daoist's door and ask him why he treated the myriad Thunder Valley this way." "That's right." Xiang Yang nodded and said, "Since Li isn't here, this old man will go in his place." "This old one will go with you." Zhua also threw away her patience. Her eyes flashed with unswerving determination as she said, "Even if the myriad Thunder Valley is to be cleaned up, we will still fight for it." Immediately, Zhua Xiang Yang, and Cui Hongshan urged their figures to fly to the other side of the Thunder Arena. Not long after, the 3 of them flew to the front of the rushing Thunder Hall. Before they could get close, a patrolling disciple flew up to block them. The patrolling disciple was obviously familiar with Cui Hongshan. He smiled and said, "Hall Master Cui, the battle between the palace lords of the Heavenly Thunder Palace is about to begin. This is an exciting event that all late Gold Core stage cultivators are eagerly anticipating. Why are you not waiting at the Thunder Arena, but coming to the rushing Thunder Hall?" "Hehe, so it's martial nephew Zhenqing." A smile appeared on Cui Hongshan's face, but he didn't answer his question. Instead, he asked, "I remember that a few days ago, martial nephew Hong Xing went to Lightning Flash Hall to collect some rumor pills. It seems like you and another martial nephew were injured. How come you are back on duty in such a short time? You are working so hard for the rushing Thunder Hall. This old man really admires you." Hearing Cui Hongshan mention the pills, Zhenqing was slightly surprised and said, Hall Master Chui, you are indeed meticulous. You actually remembered such a small matter in your heart? Martial nephew, you are wrong. Chui Hongshan smiled and said, everything in the Shocking Thunder Palace is not a small matter. You have sweated and bled for the Shocking Thunder Palace. How can we be careless? I see that your injuries have not healed, so you'd better rest for a few more days. When I am on duty tomorrow, you can send a disciple to the Thunder Hall. I will get some suitable pills for you to heal your injuries. Don't leave any side effects. Hee, thank you very much, Hall Master Chui. Zhen Qing was overjoyed and cupped his hands. I will go to the Thunder Hall tomorrow to pay my respects to Senior. Then, Zhen Qing looked around and said in a low voice, it's not that I don't want to rest, but there are too many disciples coming to the Rushing Thunder Hall these days. I can only drag my sick body to come on duty. However, Hall Master Chui, you've come late today. In front of you, 4 palace branches have already entered to pay their respects to the Palace Lord. The Palace Lord has already ordered that any palace branches that have been cleaned up are not allowed to enter the Rushing Thunder Hall. After all, the list has already been cleaned up. What is done cannot be undone. Once they enter the Rushing Thunder Hall, they can only cry and disturb. It's useless. Xiang Yang opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but Chui Hongshan pulled Xiang Yang's sleeve and said to Zhen Qing with a smile, Martial nephew, you have misunderstood. We are not here to ask the Palace Lord about the list. We want to ask the Palace Lord where Xiang Zhili, Chui Yingying, and Wu Qing have gone. Such a big thing has happened in the Myriad Thunder Valley, we can't not tell them. Oh, how could Zhen Qing not know what Chui Hongshan meant? He was surprised and said, if that's the case, Hall Master Chui, you'd better go in quickly. The 3 heroes of the Myriad Thunder Valley are the disciples personally taught by the Palace Lord, Fairy Yao Feng, and the former sect leader. They are role models in our eyes. Their whereabouts are very important. Many thanks, Martial nephew. Chui Hongshan cupped his hands at Zhen Qing and hurriedly entered the Rushing Thunder Hall. Zhuo Hongshan and Xiang Yang also smiled at Zhen Qing and followed. Zhen Qing looked at the backs of the 3 people and shook his head slightly. Then, he suddenly raised his head and looked at where Chui Hongshan and the others came from. He shouted, which palace's disciples are they? Quickly stop. In front of the Rushing Thunder Hall, there were naturally other disciples on patrol. These disciples blocked the path of Chui Hongshan and the others. They did not ask for the purpose of their visit, but only checked the nameplates. Chui Hongshan was familiar with these disciples, but he also took out the nameplates to check. After checking according to the rules, a disciple on patrol said in a low voice, Hall Master Chui, you should have come earlier. Look, there are 3 palaces' disciples waiting outside the hall. At this moment, there is already one inside the hall. As the disciple was speaking, the door of the Rushing Thunder Hall opened. 2 old men walked out silently with disappointment on their faces. The disciples of the 3 palaces' disciples who had been waiting outside the hall hurried over and asked in a low voice, Senior Brother Zhenzhen, how is the situation? Alas! The old man named Zhenzhen sighed and shook his head slightly. He did not say much and left. The disciple of the palace's disciples looked at the half-open door and hesitated for a moment. Then he waved his hand and led his disciples into the Rushing Thunder Hall. Alas! Chui Hongshan understood that these palaces' disciples were all on the list. Like him, they also wanted to try their luck here. He could not help but sigh. It's not that this old man did not want to come earlier. It's just that my Myriad Thunder Valley did not fall behind in the 100 Palaces competition. This old man did not expect to be listed. Hall Master Chui, what are you afraid of? The disciple laughed. Although the Myriad Thunder Valley is gone, you are the Deputy Hall Master of the Shuttling Thunder Hall. Your disciples can be affiliated with the Shuttling Thunder Hall. This old man is afraid of letting down this old man's senior brother. Chui Hongshan said word by word seriously. The disciple obviously did not know Xiaohua. He looked at Xiang Yang strangely and said with a smile, then this junior wishes you all good luck. Scram. At this moment, Thunder Meng Reverend's angry roar rang out from the Rushing Thunder Hall. Sect Master has already written your Lei Pingshan's name on the list. Your Lei Pingshan is ranked 4th from the bottom in the 100 Palaces competition. How do you want this old man to keep your Lei Pingshan here? You want this old man to go to Sect Master and ask for a rebuff? Do you think this old man's face is not my face? Following Thunder Meng Reverend's angry roar, the old man who had entered the rushing Thunder Hall earlier walked out dejectedly with a red face. Palace guards! Thunder Meng Reverend's thunderous voice rang out in the hall. Chase away all these palace's disciples who came here to cheat. Whoever dares to let in. Hearing Thunder Meng Reverend's anger, Cui Hongshan's face changed greatly. He did not dare to be the slightest bit negligent. He urged his body to rush recklessly towards the rushing Thunder Hall. Xiang Yang and Zhuo Wu did not react at first. They only saw Cui Hongshan rushing towards the rushing Thunder Hall and hurriedly followed. When they arrived in front of the hall master, the last few words of Thunder Meng Reverend's sentence rang out. Humans, this old man wants your heads. That was close. Zhuo Wu's figure landed in front of the rushing Thunder Hall. Behind her, many palace guards had already heard the news and moved to chase away Zhuo Wu and the other palace's disciples. Palace Master? Cui Hongshan's figure had just stepped through the door of the rushing Thunder Hall when he shouted loudly, Disciple Cui Hongshan, the Deputy Hall Master of Lightning Thunder Hall, has an important matter to report. Come in. Thunder Meng Reverend's voice was still filled with anger. However, when he heard that the Deputy Hall Master of Lightning Thunder Hall had come, he thought that it was for some official business. He suppressed his anger and said loudly. When Thunder Meng Reverend's voice rang out, a few palace guards who had rushed to the door stopped and turned to the other palace's disciples. Their faces were as fierce as fiends. Obviously, they were afraid that Thunder Meng Reverend would really take their heads. Lucky. Cui Hongshan's back was covered in a layer of cold sweat. He knew very well that if he had hesitated for a moment longer, no matter how familiar he was with the palace guards, he would not be able to stand in front of the door, let alone enter the rushing Thunder Hall. Cui Hongshan tidied up his Taoist robe. Zhuo Wu and Xiang Yang also looked up and down. After tidying up, Cui Hongshan raised his hand and invited Zhuo Wu and Xiang Yang to go first. He then entered the rushing Thunder Hall himself. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please subscribe to it at Qidian, vote for it, vote for it, vote for it, give it as a reward, and happy birthday to Wuxia, and thank you fellow Taoists for your support towards Shun Cultivation. Chapter 51:17. Oh! Holding a jade slip in his hand, Thunder Meng Taoist seemed to be looking for something. Seeing Zhua and Xiang Yang enter first, he could not help but stare blankly. Putting down the jade slip, he looked strangely at Cui Hongshan who entered last and asked curiously, What are you doing here? Seeing Thunder Meng Taoist's aged appearance, Zhua Hongshan could not help but shed tears. She flew to Thunder Meng Taoist's seat and knelt down. Palace Master, please save Myriad Thunder Valley. Please don't eliminate it. Otherwise, when Xiaohua returns, how will he find his home? Thunder Meng Taoist was stunned and asked, Eliminate Myriad Thunder Valley? What do you mean? Isn't your Myriad Thunder Valley ranked in the middle of the 100 Palaces competition? This old man has just checked the rankings, how can it be eliminated? Hearing Thunder Meng Taoist's words, Cui Hongshan's heart calmed down. Since Thunder Meng Taoist did not know about the elimination of Myriad Thunder Valley, then this matter must not have been passed through Shocking Thunder Palace. Thunder Meng Taoist had enough reason to bring them to Shocking Thunder Palace. Cui Hongshan hurriedly stepped forward and said respectfully, Reporting to Palace Master, my Myriad Thunder Valley is indeed ranked in the middle of the 100 Palaces competition. However, in the list of elimination, my Myriad Thunder Valley is ranked first. This is why this junior and the others are extremely puzzled. Although my 10,000 Thunder Valley no longer has a 10,000 Thunder Valley, and can be considered a hall branch that exists in name only, Sect Master Qian Lazy personally said that he would let my 10,000 Thunder Valley exist forever in the Great Thunder Hall, so as to leave a memento for my senior martial brother Xiao, and to commend his achievements in the Great Sword Battle. Although you were not in the Great Thunder Palace that day, Sect Master Xianhua was there. Damn it! Hearing this, Thunder Meng Taoist understood the reason for this matter. He immediately raised his hand and picked up another jade slip on the jade table and checked it with his divine sense. Sure enough, in this jade slip was a list of palace branches to be eliminated, and Myriad Thunder Valley was in sight. Seeing this, Xiang Yang knelt on the ground with a plop and kowtowed. "Milord Palace Lord, this junior earnestly requests Milord Palace Lord to make a decision for my Myriad Thunder Valley and leave behind my Myriad Thunder Valley name. If Sect Master feels that my 10,000 Thunder Valley is useless, then in the future, my 10,000 Thunder Valley will no longer receive any spirit stones, pills, or other items from the Thunderous Palace. Juniors will..." "Don't say any more." Thunder Tomb Reverend waved his hand and said, "Let this old man think carefully." Upon hearing this, the Zhuo brothers, who were about to kneel, hastily stopped. They did not even dare to breathe loudly as they looked at Lei Meng Daoist. In their hearts, they knew that Lei Meng Daoist was pondering the consequences of speaking to Fairy Xianhua. Thunder Meng Daoist raised his brows and cried out loudly, "Shiming, bring me the 7th jade slip in the first compartment of the heaven column in Slow Thunder Pavilion." "Yes, I understand." Behind Thunder Rush Palace, the clear voice of a boy rang out. Moments later, a boy clad in a green Taoist robe respectfully presented a jade slip to Reverend Lei Meng. Thunder Talisman Reverend took the jade slip, looked at it for a moment, then stood up and said, "Let's go, follow me to Dark Thunder Palace." "Yes, I understand." The Zhuo brothers did not know what was written in the jade slip, but seeing that Thunder Tomb Reverend wanted to go to Dark Thunder Palace, they were naturally happy. After bowing, they followed Thunder Tomb Reverend into the back of the palace. Seeing that Thunder Tomb Reverend did not lead them out of Thunder Rush Palace, but to the back of the palace, even Cui Hongshan was puzzled. But after passing through a few palaces, they saw a small teleportation array in one of the palaces. Only then did they understand that there was a teleportation array between Dark Thunder Palace and Dark Thunder Palace. However, when the disciple guarding the teleportation array activated it, Thunder Tomb Reverend waved his hand and ordered the disciple, "You all go down first, wait for my order before coming in." "Yes." The disciples hurriedly retreated. Thunder Tomb Reverend looked at the puzzled Zhuo brothers, Xiang Yang and Cui Hongshan, and said apologetically, "I've been busy with work these past few days. I really did not know about the matter of sect leader clearing the Myriad Thunder Valley." Zhuo brothers was about to open their mouths, but Thunder Tomb Reverend raised his hand to stop them. He continued, "However, since sect leader hid it from me and announced the name list, this matter can be considered done. If I go to Dark Thunder Palace to plead with sect leader, I'm afraid it's already too late. This old man has heard about what Sect Master Qianlazi said in the Great Thunder Hall that day, but you all must be clear. Sect Master Qianlazi also issued a Sect Master command that day to allow Xiao Hua to return to the Imperial Thunder Sect, but what about that Sect Master command? Since I failed to pursue Xiao Hua, then the sect leader's order was also fruitless, right? So, since some things have not been confirmed, they can't be taken as true. Of course, since I've said it and all of you have heard it, we naturally have to fight for it. As for the result of the fight, you don't have to worry about it. In particular, when Lord Sect Leader ascended to the position of Sect Leader, he still had some grudges with this old man. Therefore, this old man can guarantee that the result will not be optimistic." Everyone was a little dumbfounded. Although Thunder Tomb Reverend's words were pessimistic, there was also a kind of arrogance in his tone, as if he had some confidence. Although Cui Hongshan was the Deputy Palace Master of Dark Thunder Palace, he was also a little confused. However, he already had a plan in his heart. After Thunder Tomb Reverend finished speaking, he hurriedly bowed to him and said, "Palace Master, we don't know anything, we'll listen to Palace Master's arrangement." Thunder Tomb Reverend said as he took out an ancient jade slip from his bosom and handed it to Zhuo brothers. He said, "You all found this in Myriad Thunder Valley, it has nothing to do with me." Zhuo brothers was stunned and took the jade slip, not knowing what to do. Cui Hongshan hurriedly reminded, "Master's wife, this is a jade slip that Master picked up in Myriad Thunder Valley. Quickly take a look at the contents." Zhuo brothers then handed the jade slip to Cui Hongshan and said, "Hongshan, take a look. This was left behind by your master. When we were in danger in Myriad Thunder Valley, this old woman found it. Now, this old woman has brought it to ask Palace Master to make the decision. I hope you all can understand this old woman's painstaking efforts. Cui Hongshan looked at Xiang Yang. According to the order of the jade slip, Xiang Yang should be the one to look at it. However, Xiang Yang nodded at Cui Hongshan, indicating that Cui Hongshan should look at it first. Cui Hongshan hurriedly took it. After using his divine sense to read it, a look of understanding appeared on his face and he handed the jade slip to Xiang Yang. 7 lightning flashing sun? Xiang Yang's divine sense entered and he immediately cried out. Thunder Tomb Reverend was not surprised by Xiang Yang's surprise and nodded. If Myriad Thunder Valley wants to exist, this is the only way. Let's go. Following Thunder Tomb Reverend's order, the disciples guarding the transmission array returned and activated it. Zhou brothers and the rest followed Thunder Tomb Reverend into the transmission array. When they came out of the transmission array, they found themselves in another small hall. Because it was a short-distance transmission, Zhou brothers and the rest did not feel anything special. Before they could stabilize themselves, they heard a disciple exclaim in surprise, "Senior Thunder Tomb, why are you here at this time? Is there anything urgent? Has Sect Master left?" Thunder Tomb Reverend did not answer, but asked instead. Sect Master has just left Halcyon Thunder Hall and is about to head to the Thunder Arena. The battle between the Palace Master of Heavenly Thunder Palace is about to begin. The palace guard was obviously looking forward to the battle, and his mouth was filled with excitement. Thunder Tomb Reverend said coldly, "Sect Master, please return. This old man has something to discuss with her." This. The palace guard hesitated, but before he could speak, Thunder Tomb Reverend raised his hand and a thunderous sound rang out. It was the Thunder Emperor Sect's unique thunder light sound transmitting talisman. "Senior, please." Seeing that his hesitation had offended Thunder Tomb Reverend, the palace guard pulled a long face and raised his hand to invite Thunder Tomb Reverend to Halcyon Thunder Hall. Halcyon Thunder Hall was similar to Great Thunder Hall and Rushing Thunder Hall, but with some additional embellishments, it looked somewhat feminine. When Zhou brothers and Thunder Tomb Reverend arrived at Halcyon Thunder Hall, there were no other people in the hall except for a few palace guards. Thunder Tomb Reverend was not in a hurry. He raised his hand and pointed at a place in the hall, saying, "Kneel there." "Yes, Junior understands." Without any hesitation, Zhou brothers and the rest walked to that place in the hall and knelt down. Thunder Tomb Reverend clasped his hands behind his back and looked at the jade chairs in the hall. He shook his head slightly, sighed, and walked to a jade chair in the hall, sat down, and began to meditate. Thunderbolt Reverend looked like he was meditating, but his heart was stirred. 70 years ago, Master Chen Lazy was comprehending the lightning escape art in the lightning pool. Suddenly, he had an epiphany, which allowed him to break through to the separating divinity realm, which attracted the thunder tribulation. Master Chen Lazy hastily crossed the tribulation. Although he had prepared well, he still died under the separating divinity thunder tribulation, leaving no trace behind. Because Master Chen Lazy's separating divinity thunder tribulation came too suddenly, Master Chen Lazy did not expect it at all. Therefore, there were many twists and turns in the selection of the sect leader of Imperial Thunder Sect. After Master Chen Lazy reached the late Yuanying stage 700 years ago, he had already considered a candidate for the new sect leader. After that, he often used the Canlay Palace's Reverend Miyu in the affairs of the sect. Moreover, Reverend Miyu's strength was also outstanding. It was unknown what kind of opportunity she had obtained, but her lightning escape art had advanced by leaps and bounds, and there was a tendency for her to catch up with Master Chen Lazy. However, Reverend Miyu's luck was shallow. After her cultivation reached the middle Yuanying stage, she was unable to advance even an inch. During one of her experiential learning, Reverend Miyu fell in the Sunrise Mountain Range, one of the 10 most dangerous places in the country of Shi. Reverend Miyu's fall caught Master Chen Lazy somewhat unprepared. However, this was not out of his arrangement, because Thunder Tomb Reverend had always been Reverend Miyu's substitute. Unfortunately, before Master Chen Lazy could confirm Thunder Tomb Reverend's status, Master Chen Lazy encountered the separating divinity thunder tribulation. All of a sudden, Imperial Thunder Sect and Thunder Tomb Reverend were pushed into an extremely awkward situation. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, Please subscribe to it at Qidian, vote for it, vote for it, vote for it, gift it, and Chapter 51:18. With Thunder Meng Reverend's ability, he was more than qualified to be the sect leader of Imperial Thunder Sect. However, without Master Qian Lazy's personal appointment and the approval of the Palace Lords, Thunder Meng Reverend's qualifications were not as good as Fairy Xian Hua of Earth Thunder Palace and Fairy Xian Feng of Mythical Thunder Palace. Therefore, Thunder Meng Reverend was at a disadvantage in the competition for the position. Fairy Xian Feng knew her own limitations and did not participate in the competition for the position. Before Master Qian Lazy appointed Reverend Miyu, Fairy Xian Hua was also one of the candidates under Master Qian Lazy's consideration. She even acted as the sect leader of Imperial Thunder Sect for a period of time. However, due to her mishandling of matters several times, Master Qian Lazy was not satisfied with her. Therefore, he gave her up and considered Reverend Miyu and Thunder Meng Reverend instead. At this time, the position of sect leader was vacant, and Master Qian Lazy had not appointed a specific candidate. Even if Fairy Xian Hua had no ambition, her ambition was still exaggerated by the disciples of Earth Thunder Palace. Thunder Meng Reverend was in a difficult position. On one hand, he was encouraged by the disciples of Thunderclap Palace, and on the other hand, the palace lords of other Thunderclap palaces supported him openly and secretly. If she was a wise female cultivator, she would have avoided the situation and focused on cultivation, not putting the position of sect leader of Imperial Thunder Sect in her eyes. However, Fairy Xian Hua had been the sect leader of Imperial Thunder Sect for a period of time, and had tasted the taste of power. Moreover, she did not reflect on her mistakes, and only felt that it was Master Qian Lazy's prejudice. Therefore, she became more and more determined to get the position of sect leader. Under such circumstances, if Thunder Meng Reverend wanted to compete for the position, it would be hard to avoid disputes. This dispute was not like the competition for the position of Palace Lord of Heavenly Thunder Palace, which could be settled with a fight. Therefore, Thunder Meng Reverend was very hesitant. His consideration was not as simple as Fairy Xian Hua's. During the Sword Dao War, tens of thousands of disciples of Imperial Thunder Sect were captured, and the sect had spent a lot of energy stones to redeem them. Later on, due to the sudden change in the heaven and earth energy, Imperial Thunder Sect could not recruit enough disciples. At that time, the overall strength of Imperial Thunder Sect had dropped by a lot. On top of that, Master Qian Lazy and Reverend Miyu had fallen, and if Thunder Talisman Reverend and Fairy Xian Hua were to fight, Imperial Thunder Sect would definitely suffer a great loss. Therefore, after some consideration, Thunder Talisman Reverend decided to give up the position of sect leader and openly supported Fairy Xian Hua to become the sect leader. Although Fairy Xian Hua had become the sect master, the Imperial Thunder Sect had avoided a crisis and the Xuanyan cult and the others did not have the opportunity to covet the Imperial Thunder Sect. The various drawbacks of Fairy Xian Hua taking charge of the Imperial Thunder Sect had once again appeared. Of course, most of the time, the matters of the Imperial Thunder Sect were the result of a joint discussion between the palace masters of the 8 great lightning palaces. Fairy Xian Hua would often follow the good advice of others. However, an inexplicable cleanup of the 10,000 Lightning Valley would occasionally occur. Whenever something like this happened, it would inevitably cause some waves, and Fairy Xian Hua was unable to control these waves. Instead of using an iron fist, she would overturn her own decision, and as time passed, Fairy Xian Hua's authority would inevitably weaken. Among the 8 great lightning palaces of the Imperial Thunder Sect, there were many examples of Fairy Xian Hua overturning the latest decision. Only the Shocking Thunder Palace had not done such a thing in the past 100 years. Needless to say, Thunder Tablet Reverend was certain that Fairy Xian Hua was demonstrating to him that she was more qualified than him to take charge of the Imperial Thunder Sect. Therefore, Thunder Tablet Reverend had no confidence in the matter of the 10,000 Lightning Valley today. Just as Thunder Tablet Reverend thought of this, a noise came from outside the Shocking Thunder Palace. Not daring to be negligent, Thunder Tablet Reverend hastily opened his eyes. Reflected in his eyes was naturally Fairy Xian Hua's ashen face. "Greetings, Sect Master." Thunder Tablet Reverend bowed and said, "Lei Meng." Fairy Xianhua walked towards the jade chair at the head of the shocking Thunder Palace and said coldly, "What urgent matter do you have to send out a thunderlight sound-transmitting talisman?" When Thunder Tablet Reverend heard Fairy Xianhua call him Lei Meng, and even pretended not to see Jianghu and the other two kneeling on the side of the palace, the anger in his heart instantly surged. However, just as he was about to open his mouth, his eyes caught sight of Jianghu's slightly trembling figure when he saw the sect master. Thunder Tablet Reverend took a deep breath, suppressing his anger, and said respectfully, "What urgent matter could I have? The matter of life and death is these disciples." Matter of life and death? Fairy Xianhua's figure stopped, and she turned her head to look at Thunder Tablet Reverend with narrowed eyes, and asked curiously, "What do you mean? What disciples? What matter of life and death?" Naturally, it's the disciples of the myriad Thunder Valley. Thunder Tablet Reverend was already somewhat angry. Although he lowered his voice, there was still the power of thunder in his voice. "They have guarded the myriad Thunder Valley for countless years for my Thunder Control sect. Now that the myriad Thunder Valley is no more, the myriad Thunder Valley will be wiped out." Although they fought their way out in the 100 Palaces competition, they were still unable to prevent the fate of being wiped out. I want to ask, is this fair to them? Oh, myriad Thunder Valley? At this moment, Fairy Xianhua pretended to have noticed Zhua **** and the rest. However, her gaze swept past the three of them and landed on Lei Meng Daoist. She seemed to be appreciating Lei Meng Daoist's anger, and said in an exaggerated tone, "I thought you had something important to do. So it's for myriad Thunder Valley. If I had known this earlier, I wouldn't have turned back. Could it be that my decision has already been announced to the public, and you want me to take it back?" Sect Master? Jianghu had just gathered her courage to speak, but Fairy Xianhua completely ignored her, and shouted again, "Moreover, Lei Meng, didn't you just say it yourself? If the myriad Thunder Valley is without lightning, then what is the value of the myriad Thunder Valley? Instead of guarding a useless valley, they might as well be absorbed into another palace and contribute to your shocking Thunder Palace and my Imperial Thunder Sect." Cui Hongshan bit his lips and endured. He knew that as long as he opened his mouth, he would definitely offend Fairy Xianhua, and his future in the Imperial Thunder Sect would be strangled. However, when he saw Jianghu open her mouth, not knowing how to interrupt, he hastily took advantage of Fairy Xianhua to ask Thunder Tablet Reverend, "Sect Master, my myriad Thunder Valley is a palace branch of Shocking Thunder Palace. Whether it exists or not, we can work for Shocking Thunder Palace. If Shocking Thunder Palace needs to guard any place, my myriad Thunder Valley disciples will not hesitate to die 10,000 times. My myriad Thunder Valley disciples just want to keep, shut up." Unfortunately, before Cui Hongshan could finish, Fairy Xianhua shouted, "This is Shocking Thunder Palace, not your Shocking Thunder Palace, and not Shining Thunder Palace. What right do you have to speak?" Cui Hongshan was stunned at first and was about to lower his head, but the moment he did so, he raised his head and looked at Fairy Xianhua, saying righteously, "Sect Master is wrong. Whether it's Shuttling Thunder Hall, Deafening Thunder Palace, or even this Shuttling Thunder Hall, they all belong to the Imperial Thunder Sect. As a disciple of the Imperial Thunder Sect, I have the right to speak in the Imperial Thunder Sect. Unless the Sect Master expels me from the Imperial Thunder Sect, I wouldn't dare to speak nonsense here." Damn it! Fairy Xianhua was furious. She suddenly released her Midyuanying stage pressure and rushed towards Cui Hongshan like a river. Thunder Tablet Reverend sneered. How could he let Cui Hongshan be suppressed by her pressure? He was also a Midyuanying stage cultivator, and even more powerful than Fairy Xianhua. Boom boom boom. It was as if countless big hands were hitting each other in midair. Waves of air rose and scattered. Ouch! At this time, outside Shocking Thunder Palace, several surprised voices sounded. "Sect Master, Palace Master Thunder Tablet, what is going on?" Along with these voices, several subordinate palace masters of Heavenly Thunder Palace arrived, just in time. Thunder Tablet Reverend coldly snorted and was the first to retract his pressure. Fairy Xianhua was also anxious. She could not really harm Cui Hongshan. At this moment, She also retracted her pressure and walked behind the jade table with a cold snort. Isn't this Thunder Palace's Shining Thunder Palace's Deputy Palace Master Cui? Void Thunder Palace's Palace Master Kunshin looked at Cui Hongshin and called out in a slightly exaggerated manner, "Why did you come to Shocking Thunder Palace instead of enjoying the battle between the Palace Masters of Heavenly Thunder Palace?" Cui Hongshin raised his eyes and looked at this late Jindan stage old man. Although he knew that he was doing it on purpose, he still smiled and said, "Palace Master Kun, although I am the Thunder Palace's Deputy Palace Master, I am also a disciple of Myriad Thunder Valley." "Oh, Myriad Thunder Valley." Kunshin immediately understood. He glanced at Fairy Xianhua and explained, "I know about this matter. That day when I was dealing with the rest of the palace branches of Heavenly Thunder Palace, he even asked me about it. Your Myriad Thunder Valley already exists in name only, and there are many idol disciples under your name. Cough cough. I remember that your Thunderous Palace has 3 children who are known as the 3 heroes of the Myriad Thunder Valley. They have made a great name for themselves in the Imperial Thunder Sect. They are all children with poor aptitudes, so don't waste your future because of idleness." Thunder Tablet Reverend snorted and said faintly, "Kunshin, what qualifications do you have to judge the 3 heroes of Myriad Thunder Valley? Have you seen their cultivation base?" This Kunshin smiled faintly and replied, "This junior really doesn't know. However, this junior has heard quite a bit about the disaster they caused in the Thunder Palace." Kunshin's words were full of sarcasm. Thunder Tablet Reverend was furious. Just as he was about to speak, Fairy Xianhua on the high platform spoke, "Tablet Reverend, as you can see, Kunshin is just a palace master of my Canlei Palace. If he has heard about the absurd matter of the 3 heroes of Myriad Thunder Valley, how can others not know?" This seat cleaned up the idol palace branches that the Imperial Thunder Sect had accumulated for many years for the sake of my Imperial Thunder Sect. Now that the Imperial Thunder Sect's strength has been greatly reduced, if we don't use some measures to boost the morale of the disciples of the various palace branches, my Imperial Thunder Sect will not be far from being destroyed. But since I want to clean up Myriad Thunder Valley, I have no choice but to do it. Think about it from my perspective. If it were you, how would you deal with it? Perhaps Fairy Xianhua's idea was good, and what she did was correct, but her mistake was that she had selfish motives, and her actions were rather sinister. If she had openly discussed with Thunder Tablet Reverend and the disciples of Myriad Thunder Valley, and told them the predicament of Imperial Thunder Sect and her own difficulties, Thunder Tablet Reverend and the disciples of Myriad Thunder Valley might have agreed. But Fairy Xianhua felt that as the leader of a sect, why would it be so troublesome to clean up a small palace branch? That was why she had caused so much trouble. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please subscribe to it at Qidian, vote for it, vote for it, vote for it, give it as a reward, and I wish Wuxia a happy birthday. And also thank you fellow Taoists for your support of God Cultivation. Chapter 51:19. Thunder Meng Taoist pondered for a moment and nodded. "Sect Master, I understand what you're thinking. Even when Sect Master issued the Sect Master's order to hold the 100 Palaces competition, I still carried it out meticulously. If Myriad Thunder Valley was really eliminated in the 100 Palaces competition, according to the rules of the Sect Master's order, I wouldn't say anything. However, Sect Master didn't act according to the previous order and added a lot of things, which made me unable to explain to the disciples of Myriad Thunder Valley." Lei Meng. Seeing Thunder Meng Taoist refer to himself as subordinate, Fairy Xianhua felt much better. She smiled and said, "Eliminating the palaces is what we discussed earlier, but the 100 Palaces competition is only one of the methods to eliminate the palaces, not the only one." Alright. Of course, Thunder Meng Taoist couldn't argue with Sect Master Xianhua on the matters of the sect. Only an unwise person would do such a thing. He nodded and said, "Since Sect Master has already thought about it, I won't say anything more. However, regarding Myriad Thunder Valley, I hope Sect Master can be lenient. In the early years, Sect Master Qian Lazy said that Myriad Thunder Valley should be preserved forever." "Oh." Fairy Xianhua stared blankly and asked curiously, "Senior Brother Qian Lazy said that?" Thunder Meng Taoist had already expected such a situation. He smiled and said, that day was the day sect master Qian Lazy stepped into the late nascent soul stage and also the day myriad Thunder Valley's Xiao Hua was expelled from the Imperial Thunder sect. I went to chase after Xiao Hua under sect master's order and wasn't in the Great Thunder Palace. If sect master doesn't believe me, you can ask Fairy Xianfeng and Xing Yunzi to come and ask. That's not right. Fairy Xianhua shook her head and said, I was also in the Great Thunder Palace that day. Kun Shen, go find the records of that day and see if senior brother Qian Lazy had issued the sect master's order or said anything. Yes, I understand. Kun Shen accepted the order and left. Zhui Ying's eyes were filled with hope. She was also in the Great Thunder Palace that day, and these words were engraved in her heart. Unfortunately, in the time it took to drink a cup of tea, Kun Shen came in with a few jade slips and bowed and said, Sect Master, there's another accident. What accident? Fairy Xianhua asked curiously. The records of Sect Master Qian Lazy's palace affairs are all kept in the Great Thunder Palace. However, when Sect Master Qian Lazy was struck by the lightning tribulation, he was inside the lightning pool. Although he used the lightning escape technique to fly out of the Great Thunder Palace, the lightning tribulation still affected the Great Thunder Palace. Kun Shen explained, this disciple has already checked just now. Some of the Great Thunder Hall's palace affairs jade slips have been destroyed. The Great Thunder Hall disciples have already cleaned them up, and the jade slips from those few days just so happened to be among them. A cold smile appeared on Reverend Lei Meng's lips. This result was not out of his expectation. He nodded and said, if that's the case, then we can't check the jade slip. We'll have to ask Fairy Yao Feng to come and ask. Oh, by the way, Sect Master, this subordinate heard that Sect Master Qian Lazy was going to overrule your Sect Master order and personally summon Xiao Hua back to the Imperial Thunder Sect. Could it be that the Sect Master order is also missing? Fairy Xianhua's eyelids twitched a few times, but she also restrained her anger and said in a low voice, Senior brother Qian Lazy wanted to overrule the Sect Master's order I issued that day, but I expelled Xiao Hua based on the sect law written by the founding ancestor of my Imperial Thunder sect. Even senior brother Qian Lazy has nothing to say. Oh, this subordinate remembers now. Thunder Meng Daoist slapped his forehead and said, when sect master expelled Xiao Hua that day, he also mentioned the sect law. Since it was written by the founder of the sect, this subordinate has nothing to say. As long as you know this sect master's difficulties. Fairy Xianhua smiled and nodded. Unfortunately, before she could finish, Thunder Meng Daoist changed the topic. Since Sect Master can expel Xiao Hua based on the sect law written by the founder of my Imperial Thunder sect, then my Thunder Shocking Palace and Myriad Thunder Valley can also rely on the sect law written by the founder of my Imperial Thunder sect, to fight for a chance to leave our name. After saying that, Thunder Meng Daoist turned to Zhuo Wu and said, Wu Wu, take out the jade slip left behind by the founder of your Myriad Thunder Valley and show it to Sect Master. Yes, this disciple understands. Only then did Zhuo Wu come to his senses. He hurriedly and carefully handed over the ancient jade slip. Fairy Xianhua was really at a loss. She took the jade slip and scanned it with her divine sense. When she saw the contents, her face changed greatly. She stood up from the jade chair and said angrily, where did this sect law come from? How come this sect master has never heard of it? Thunder Meng Daoist said indifferently, Sect Master, the 8 great thunder palaces of my Imperial Thunder sect have a long history. There are many things you don't know. This subordinate has already seen this jade slip and compared it with the jade slips left behind by the other founders in Thunder Shocking Palace. It is indeed left behind by the founder. If you don't believe me, you can ask the other 5 Great Thunder Palace Masters to check it. Thunder Meng. Fairy Xianhua didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She said, when did the founder say this? What year is it now? How can you take it seriously? Thunder Meng Daoist smiled and asked, Sect Master, do the 8 Great Thunder Palaces still exist? Fairy Xianhua was confused again. She didn't know why Thunder Meng Daoist asked this, but she answered naturally. Then is Myriad Thunder Valley going to be cleaned up? Thunder Meng Daoist asked again. Fairy Xianhua answered helplessly. She seemed to have understood something. Suddenly, Cui Hongshan bowed and asked, "Then may I ask, Sect Master, was what you saw just now personally said by the founder of my Imperial Thunder Sect?" "Yes." Fairy Xianhua answered in a lower voice. "Then, in all these years has any sect master of my Imperial Thunder Sect changed this sect law?" Cui Hongshan's voice was as calm as before. "No." Fairy Xianhua's voice was almost inaudible. She frowned. Cui Hongshan said no more and said respectfully, "Disciple thanks sect master for his teachings." After saying this, Cui Hongshan returned to the side of Fairy Zhua. "Sect master?" The palace masters of Heavenly Thunder Palace looked at each other. Kuan-Shin still took a step forward and bowed. "Which sect law was drawn up by the founder of Imperial Thunder Sect?" "Take a look." Fairy Xianhua handed the jade slip to Kuan-Shin helplessly. Kuan-Shin took the jade slip and scanned it with his divine sense. His expression changed slightly and he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He then handed the jade slip to the palace masters beside him. When the other palace masters scanned it, Kuan-Shin pondered for a moment and said, "Sect master, even if the seven thunders dazzling sun recorded in the jade slip was left behind by the founder of my Imperial Thunder Sect, it is no longer appropriate today. We can't take it seriously." "How is it no longer appropriate?" Fairy Xianhua heard this and immediately became spirited. She asked with interest, "Why don't you tell us?" The so-called Seven Thunders Dazzling Sun means that if a sect wants to be established, it must first pass the tests of the other Seven Thunders Palaces. On the other hand, if a sect is to be eliminated, it can be retained if it can pass the tests of the other Seven Thunders Palaces. Kuan-Shin explained, "When my Imperial Thunder Sect was first established, in order to ensure the stability of the Imperial Thunder Sect, the founder established this sect law. The most important thing is to prevent some sects from blindly establishing themselves independently. This Seven Thunders Dazzling Sun does not specifically target sections. Moreover, my Imperial Thunder Sect is now a famous sect in the country of Shi. The establishment and elimination of a sect is not enough to affect the strength of my Imperial Thunder Sect. Therefore, this disciple feels that this sect law can be abolished." Thunder Talisman Taoist looked coldly at Kuan-Shin and asked, "Kuan-Shin, at this time, has this sect law been abolished?" "No." Kuan-Shin hesitated for a moment and didn't say anything more. Thunder Talisman Taoist had already questioned Fairy Xianhua, so he didn't need to be entangled in this matter. Just as Fairy Xianhua was frowning, "Rumble?" Thunder rumbled outside the palace. Although separated by the restriction of the palace, everyone could still hear it clearly. Thunder Talisman Taoist sneered. "Such an arrogant lightning escape technique? Who else could it be but Crazy Heaven Taoist?" Sure enough, a moment later, without the need for the palace guards to report, Crazy Heaven Taoist barged into the palace. Before he could see clearly who was inside the palace, he shouted loudly, "Honorable Sect Master, what's the matter with you? This disciple and the others are waiting anxiously at the Thunder Plateau. Why haven't you gone over yet?" "Thunder Talisman Taoist? Why are you here?" Of course, at this point, Crazy Heaven Taoist saw Zhua and the others and understood what was going on. He said coldly, "This old man understands now. So it's the disciples of Myriad Thunder Valley who came to cause trouble in front of Honorable Sect Master. Since they've already been cleaned up, why stay here and lose face?" "Crazy Heaven?" Thunder Talisman Taoist said indifferently, "This is the Palace Master of Heavenly Thunder Palace, and you're not yet the Palace Master of Heavenly Thunder Palace. You can't make a ruckus here." Crazy Heaven Taoist rolled his eyes and said with an apologetic smile, "Martial Uncle, this junior is just anxious. You've been the Palace Master of Thunderous Palace for many years. This junior's but has yet to touch the jade chair of Heavenly Thunder Palace's Palace Master. Since you want to be the Palace Master of Heavenly Thunder Palace, then let's see how my Thunderous Palace will handle this matter." Thunder Talisman Taoist smiled and pointed at Kuan-Shin. "Let Kuan-Shin explain it to you." Kuan-Shin, quickly tell me what's going on?" Crazy Heaven Taoist nodded and asked Kuan-Shin. After Kuan-Shin finished speaking, Crazy Heaven Taoist sneered, "Isn't this easy to handle? Seven Lightning's Dazzling Sun, Isn't it to let the other 7 lightning palaces, except for Thunderous Palace, find disciples to challenge myriad Thunder Valley? Honorable Sect Master can issue a Sect Master's order to explain this matter and pick out 7 disciples from each lightning palace to challenge myriad Thunder Valley's disciples. As long as there are still disciples who are not afraid of death like myriad Thunder Valley, they can also go to the Thunder Plateau. Now that the Thunder Plateau has merged and landed on the Thunder Mountain Range, if they want to fight, I'll let them. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please subscribe to it at Qidian, vote for it, vote for it, vote for it, give it as a reward. Chapter 5120. Kuan Shin hurriedly asked, but the problem is, 7 Lightning's shining sun didn't say anything about the order. How do we win? What cultivation level do we need? Motherf asterisk Kerr. Crazy Heaven said disdainfully, since it's a test of the strength of the myriad Thunder Valley, they naturally have to send out powerful disciples. A nascent soul disciple would definitely bully the myriad Thunder Valley. It wouldn't be difficult for each of the Thunder Palaces to choose a late Jindan realm cultivator, right? As for the order, according to convention, it will start with my Heavenly Thunder Palace and end with the Heavenly Thunder Palace. As long as the myriad Thunder Valley can win 4 matches, their palace branch will be preserved. Yes, this junior understands. When Kuan Shin heard about the selection of late Jindan stage cultivators, he immediately came to his senses. Although the 10,000 Thunder Valley had obtained the sect law personally written by the so-called founding ancestor, the 10,000 Thunder Valley had to face the challenge of the 7 great Thunder Palaces. Although many of the disciples of the myriad Thunder Valley were at the Gold Core stage, it was not difficult for the Thunder Palaces to pick out experts at the peak of the late Gold Core stage. If the myriad Thunder Valley wanted to win 4 rounds, it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Seeing Quangtian Reverend giving out orders like a sect master, Thunder Meng Reverend sneered and looked at Fairy Xianhua. Fairy Xianhua did not find it strange. Instead, she was happy and ordered, "Good, we'll do as Quangtian said." Kuan Shen passed down the sect master's order to prepare 7 Lightning's dazzling sun. After delivering the order, Fairy Xianhua turned to Reverend Lei Meng and said, "Lei Meng, I've issued the sect leader's order according to the sect law drafted by founding ancestor. Are you satisfied with it?" There was no joy on Thunder Tablet Reverend's face as he replied indifferently, "This has nothing to do with me. I'm just here to bring the disciples of myriad Thunder Valley. The decision is entirely up to the sect leader." "All right then." Fairy Xianhua stood up and said, "Disciples of the myriad Thunder Valley, quickly go back and prepare. In an hour, the 7 thunders flash the sun will begin." "Thank you, Sect Master, for your kindness." Zhua ****, and the rest bowed respectfully before following Thunder Meng Daoist into the teleportation array and back to Thunder Quake Palace. Watching Reverend Lei Tan enter the back hall, Fairy Xianhua coldly snorted and waved her hand, "Let's go, we'll go watch the show." Not to mention that Fairy Xianhua led the earthly Thunder Palace's hall masters to the Thunder Arena. Zhua Honggong and the others immediately knelt on the ground and said, "Junior thanks Palace Lord." "Sigh, there's no need to be so polite." Thunder Tablet Spiritual Master helped the 3 of them up. Glancing at Xiang Yang, who had not spoken a single word in the Dark Thunder Hall, he sighed and said, "This old man has fate with your myriad Thunder Valley. Although I want to help you to the end, this old man's abilities are limited. This is as far as I can do. In the future, you have to rely on yourselves. Moreover, this path is very difficult. All of you better take care of yourselves." "This opportunity is already good enough." Xiang Yang finally spoke. "This junior is very grateful. Unfortunately, I don't know how Li is in closed-door cultivation now. If he was here, it would be much better. His presence is a bad thing." At the mention of Xiang Zhili, Thunder Meng Daoist could not help but laugh. With his temper, wouldn't he turn the Thunder Plane upside down? Forget it, hurry up and get ready. There's not much time left for you. Yes, we understand." Xiang Yang's words were not without the intention of inquiring. However, after listening to Thunder Tablet Spiritual Master's words, It was obvious that Thunder Tablet Spiritual Master did not know Xiang Zhili's whereabouts and cultivation situation. Therefore, after saluting, Xiang Yang and the rest hurriedly left. Thunder Tablet Spiritual Master lowered his head and pondered for a moment. The frown on his face did not relax at all. He then raised his head to look outside the hall and ordered, "Where is Zhen Qing?" "Disciple is here." Seeing that Cui Hongshan and the rest had just left and Thunder Tablet Spiritual Master had called for him, Zhen Qing's heart was in a mess. "Here are some elixirs, take them. Bring a few palace guards you are familiar with and protect the disciples of Myriad Thunder Valley. If they do not fall on the Thunder Plain, help them at all costs." Thunder Tablet Spiritual Master took out a storage pouch and handed it over to Zhen Qing. Zhen Qing was shocked. He hurriedly asked, "Palace Master, why did Palace Master Cui and the rest come to the Thunder Plain?" "The Sect Master's order will be issued soon." Thunder Tablet Spiritual Master said faintly, "You will understand when you see it. Based on Xiang Yang and the rest's temper, they will not rest until they are dead." "Yes, disciple understands." Zhen Qing did not dare to ask more. He took the storage pouch and hurriedly flew out, rushing to the Thunder Plain. After explaining the matter to the disciples of Myriad Thunder Valley, a solemn and stirring look appeared in everyone's eyes. They understood that their masters were about to fight with their lives on the line. But if they did not fight with their lives on the line, Myriad Thunder Valley would be lost. Not only their teachers, even they, had no choice but to fight to the death. Yan Qinglian looked at Xiang Yang and did not say a word. Dui Qiming endured for a moment and could not help but say, "Hongshan, we do not have to fight to the death. Myriad Thunder Valley may be gone, but we disciples are still here. If there is an opportunity in the future, we can rebuild Myriad Thunder Valley. As the saying goes, where there is life, there is hope. Isn't this the case?" Zhua **** also hurriedly nodded and said, "Xiang Yang, Qinglian, Hongshan, Qiming is right. Although I followed your master's orders and wanted to keep Myriad Thunder Valley, this valley is dead and we are alive. Myriad Thunder Valley will be wherever we are. This time, we have a chance to fight, but we must not fight to the death." Cui Hongshan smiled and replied, "Master's wife, don't worry. We know what we are doing. When we just returned, disciple had already thought about it. Although Spiritual Master Quangtian said it was dangerous, but in reality, other than Qian Thunder Palace and Earth Thunder Palace, the other 5 lightning palaces will not send out late gold core stage experts as Spiritual Master Quangtian said." At this point, Cui Hongshan looked at Dui Qiming and said, "For example, if Qiming is sent to fight, how can the disciples of Myriad Thunder Palace fight to the death with her?" Dui Qiming rolled her eyes at Cui Hongshan and said, "That is not necessarily the case. Myriad Thunder Palace can be considered your maiden home. This battle with Myriad Thunder Palace is definitely yours." Cui Hongshan smiled and said, "There is also Zhen Thunder Palace. Previously, disciple often went to Jade Archive Hall with eldest senior brother and can be considered to be familiar with martial uncle Zhen Qing. I also know some of the palace masters of Zhen Thunder Palace. They will definitely be lenient." Fairy Yao Feng of Mythical Thunder Palace guided Yingying's cultivation. "Perhaps she will think highly of our Myriad Thunder Valley." Dui Qiming also said, "Perhaps she will not make things too difficult for our Myriad Thunder Valley." Zhua **** heard this and couldn't help but be overjoyed. She said, "In that case, doesn't that mean we have 3 chances of winning? Since I am familiar with some disciples of Qian Thunder Palace, there is no harm in fighting them. Perhaps they will be lenient." "Absolutely not." Xiang Yang and Cui Hongshan shouted at the same time, "Master's wife, Qian Thunder Palace is now the world of Spiritual Master Quangtian. He is not friendly to our Myriad Thunder Valley. If you fight, it will be disastrous. Someone has to fight Qian Thunder Palace. Since Qian Thunder Palace is the first battle, it is most suitable for me to fight." Zhua **** said unquestionably. Cui Hongshan looked at Xiang Yang and said with a smile, "Master's wife, don't be anxious. Let's discuss it again." Xiang Yang continued, "After Qian Thunder Palace is Qian Thunder Palace. Needless to say, Lord Sect Master will definitely send out extremely powerful Golden Core disciples to fight. He will definitely not let our myriad Thunder Valley win this battle. Qian Thunder Palace will definitely lose this battle. Speaking of this, Dui Qiming said, since it is a losing battle, why don't we send Jin Quan and the others to fight? We can also preserve some of our strength. Cui Hongshan said with a smile, you are right. This should be the arrangement. After Qian Thunder Palace should be Qian Thunder Palace. Previously, if Reverend Miyu was in charge of Qian Thunder Palace? Dui Qiming sneered and waved his hand. Don't mention Senior Miyu. He was also trapped in Sentry City back then. He might not have a good impression of our myriad Thunder Valley. In that case, Xiang Yang smiled bitterly again and said, in that case, there is no need to mention Senior Zhishuanzi. It seems that he also participated in the Sword Dao War back then and was also captured. Qian Thunder Palace's battle is also hopeless. Zhua **** frowned and said, in that case, Qian Thunder Palace and Qian Thunder Palace will definitely lose these three battles. Li Thunder Palace, Zhen Thunder Palace and Dui Thunder Palace have some confidence. The last Sun Thunder Palace is the most crucial battle? Master's wife. Xiang Yang said hurriedly, your cultivation is the highest. This crucial battle will be handed over to you. The battle of Sun Thunder Palace is too important. As for this battle that Qian Thunder Palace is bound to lose, leave it to me. This Zhua **** was a little hesitant. Xiang Yang was right. Since they were bound to lose, there was no need to let the late-stage Golden Core disciples of Myriad Thunder Valley fight. The ordinary Jin Quan and Fang Lihe were also fine. However, she only pondered for a moment, then shook her head and said, although my cultivation is the highest, I am still a woman. In terms of fighting, I am slightly lacking. Why don't we let Hongshan fight the disciples of Sun Thunder Palace? Cui Hongshan frowned and pondered. He knew very well that just as Zhua **** had said, the battle between Myriad Thunder Valley and Sun Thunder Palace was the most crucial battle. After Sun Thunder Palace was Dui Thunder Palace. If there were no accidents, Dui Thunder Palace would easily win this battle. Back then, in order to marry Dui Qiming, he had visited Dui Thunder Palace many times. Dui Thunder Palace had no reason to not give face to Myriad Thunder Valley. Of course, it could not be denied that Dui Thunder Palace would win the final battle under Fairy Xianhua's instructions. But no matter what, the battle between Myriad Thunder Valley and Sun Thunder Palace had to be fought by the most stable or powerful disciples of Myriad Thunder Valley. Sigh. Cui Hongshan looked around and sighed. He regretted that he did not put more effort into cultivation. He said, since that is the case, I will fight Sun Thunder Palace. Good. Xiang Yang nodded and said, Junior Brother Cui will fight Sun Thunder Palace. There is still another Qian Thunder Palace. I don't have much confidence in winning, so I will need powerful disciples to fight. Master's wife, this Qian Thunder Palace. I will leave it to you. No, husband. Yan Qinglian, who had been silent all this while, hurriedly said, leave the battle of Qian Thunder Palace to me. I am not much weaker than Master's wife. Before Yan Qinglian could finish speaking, Zhua ****, Cui Hongshan, and Dui Qiming objected in unison. Vote for it, vote for it, vote for it, donate it, and thank you for all forms of support. Chapter 51:21. Cui Hongshan and Dui Qiming looked at each other and exchanged glances, waiting for Zhua Hongshan to speak. By now, everyone knew that Xiang Yang had to be the first to fight. He had to face the challenge from the Heavenly Thunder Palace. With Kuang Tian's ruthlessness, he would definitely send a powerful disciple. If Xiang Yang wasn't injured in this battle, how could Kuang Tian give up? It was the same for the Heavenly Thunder Palace. Whoever fought the Heavenly Thunder Palace had to be injured. Otherwise, Zhishuanzi wouldn't agree. If it was the disciple of Reverend Miyu, it would be even worse. Since that was the case, how could the Myriad Thunder Valley injure both Xiang Yang and Yan Qinglian? I will fight the Heavenly Thunder Palace. Zhua Hongshan didn't allow Xiang Yang and Yan Qinglian to say more. Mistress. Yan Qinglian bit her lips and whispered, "You are old, I'm not old yet." Zhuo Hongshan said faintly, "Moreover, I am the leader of the myriad Thunder Valley now. I will do as I say." "Senior sister," Cui Hongshan hurriedly said, "there are variables in the Heavenly Thunder Palace. You should fight them." Heavenly Thunder Palace? Yan Qinglian was hesitant. She glanced at Xiang Yang. Previously, everyone had discussed it and knew that the Heavenly Thunder Palace had a higher chance of winning. How could it be the variable that Cui Hongshan mentioned? This was clearly Cui Hongshan's white lie. Zhuo Hongshan smiled and held Yan Qinglian's hand, saying, "That's right. Qinglian, I went to the Jade Archive Hall a few days ago and know that Martial Uncle Zhen Qing isn't here. There are variables in the Heavenly Thunder Palace. I will rely on you for this battle." Martial Uncle Zhen Qing isn't here? Yan Qinglian was slightly stunned. She originally wanted to argue, but she didn't know what to say now. Thus, she nodded and said, "All right, I will fight the Heavenly Thunder Palace." Fang Liha. Without waiting for everyone to speak, Cui Hongshan said sternly, "Fight the Heavenly Thunder Palace." "Yes, I understand." Fang Liha was overjoyed. Zhen Quan immediately shouted, "Martial Uncle Cui, how can you let Liha fight the Heavenly Thunder Palace? His cultivation is higher than mine. He should fight the Heavenly Thunder Palace." "You." The Earthly Thunder Palace was as dangerous as the Heavenly Thunder Palace. Both of them were bound to be injured. Fang Liha and Zhen Quan were fighting to go up. How could she not be hurt by such brotherly affection? As soon as Zhua cried, everyone was filled with grief. The female disciples lowered their heads to wipe their tears, while the male disciples bit their lips, their eyes red. "You are all good children," Zhua whispered. "It's all because of my incompetence. Instead of letting the myriad Thunder Valley bring you glory, you have to sacrifice yourself for the myriad Thunder Valley." "Grandmaster?" Zhen Quan and Fang Liha knelt in front of Grandmaster Zhua and kowtowed. "Disciples are willing to fight for myriad Thunder Valley. I can die without regrets." The words, "I can die without regrets," caused tears to flow down Zhuo Hongwu's face. "Liha will fight the Heavenly Thunder Palace." Zhuo Hongwu clenched her fists so tightly that the knuckles on her hands had already turned white. Without any hesitation, she said word by word, "Thank you, Grandmaster." Fang Liha was overjoyed and agreed. His right hand grabbed Zhen Quan, who was also kneeling beside him, and he said, "You will fight the mythical Thunder Palace. If you and I are of one heart, we can cut through gold." "All right." Zhen Quan stretched out his left hand, and Fang Liha also stretched out his left hand. The two of them shook hands and said, "If we are of one heart, we can cut through gold." "That's right." Zhuo Hongwu also wiped away the tears in her eyes and shouted, "If our myriad Thunder Valley is of one heart, we can cut through gold." "Yes, if the myriad Thunder Valley is of one heart, we can cut through gold." Everyone roared in unison, as if they wanted to shout out the injustice in their hearts, the joy in their hearts, and the grief in their hearts. Eldest senior martial brother. Just as everyone's roars soared into the sky, a voice came from afar. "Eldest senior martial brother?" Xiang Yang's figure trembled, and he hurriedly looked in the direction of the voice. Unfortunately, he saw a middle Jindan stage cultivator in a gorgeous Taoist robe flying over with an anxious look on his face. Apart from disappointment, there was also a trace of relief. "Diheng, you finally returned to the mountain?" Xiang Yang's figure moved, and he went up to greet him, saying, "The last time I saw you seemed to be 5 years ago, right?" Eldest senior martial brother. Qian Diheng didn't have time to answer Xiang Yang's question, and hurriedly asked, "What happened to the myriad Thunder Valley? Why did you fight with my Heavenly Thunder Palace? I heard from my grandfather that he wanted to show his strength to you, so you must." Speaking up to here, Qian Diheng looked at the disciples of the myriad Thunder Valley not far away, and didn't continue speaking. After bowing to Zhuo Hongwu and the others, he pulled Xiang Yang to one side and whispered, "Eldest senior martial brother, what's going on?" "Hee, nothing." Xiang Yang had a smile on his face. Looking at Qian Diheng, who looked similar to before, Xiang Yang told him what had happened. Damn it. Hearing this, Qian Diheng immediately cursed. What does this old beggar want to do? All day long this and that, doesn't she know it's annoying? My Imperial Thunder sect has now been reduced to a second-rate sect. Instead of reflecting on how to solve the problem of recruiting disciples and how to resist the erosion of other sects, she actually weakened her own strength here. If she wasn't the sect leader, I would have thought she was a spy from other sects. Shoo! Xiang Yang's complexion changed greatly, and he hurriedly signaled Qian Diheng to be quiet. Sect leader naturally has her own thoughts. As disciples of the sect, we only need to follow her orders. Since it's an order, why do you still need to make 7 thunders dazzling sun? Qian Diheng ridiculed. You might as well clear out the myriad thunder valley, and then you can all merge into the 1,000th thunder mountain. Xiang Yang had long been used to being ridiculed, and he also knew that Qian Diheng was just angry, so he didn't care. He replied, the myriad thunder valley was entrusted to Master's wife by Master before he left, and it was also the sect leader Qian Lazy who promised to live forever. Tisich. Qian Diheng disdainfully said, is that all? You're willing to exchange your life for it? Do you know? That's why great-grandfather sent Qian Ding. Not to mention your myriad thunder valley, even in the entire Imperial Thunder sect, there's no Jindan cultivator more powerful than him. Contrary to Qian Diheng's expectations, Xiang Yang's eyelids didn't even move, as if he didn't know the name Qian Ding. Damn it! Qian Diheng suddenly understood. He used his hand to pull Xiang Yang's sleeve and said, could it be that this time you're the one going up? Xiang Yang said with a faint smile, since the Heavenly Thunder Palace is bound to win, naturally I, the most incompetent disciple, will be the one going up. Why don't you let Cui Hongshan go? Qian Diheng said somewhat resentfully, he only knows how to bully an honest person like you. Xiang Yang knew that Qian Diheng usually didn't like Cui Hongshan, so he said with a smile, we're all fellow disciples, so it doesn't matter who goes. Alas. Qian Diheng sighed and lowered his head in silence, as if he was thinking about something. Xiang Yang looked at Qian Diheng and felt very warm in his heart. Qian Diheng's background wasn't something Xiang Yang and the others could compare to. He also had a good temper with Xiaohua, so he looked at the myriad Thunder Valley in a different light. Otherwise, with the strength of the myriad Thunder Valley, it was impossible for them to have any friendship with Qian Diheng. In particular, Qian Diheng's cultivation wasn't good. In these hundreds of years, who knew how many medicinal pills he had taken, and who knew how many nascent soul experts he had received guidance from, but his cultivation had only reached the middle Jindan stage, even worse than Xiang Yang. However, Qian Diheng had an extraordinary business mind. Ever since he started cooperating with Xiaohua, he couldn't stop. Now, Qian Diheng's return of Spring Chamber of Commerce had become increasingly powerful, and it was already an extremely important place for the Imperial Thunder sect. Don't look at how Qian Diheng was merely a Jindan disciple. In front of Fairy Xianhua, he had more face than nascent soul cultivators. No wonder Qian Diheng dared to call Fairy Xianhua an old beggar in front of Xiang Yang. However, although Qian Diheng's reputation had risen, he was still grateful to the myriad Thunder Valley. Facing the support of the entire Imperial Thunder sect, Qian Diheng didn't dare to talk about his previous cooperation with Xiaohua. Naturally, the myriad Thunder Valley also didn't dare to complain. Qian Diheng still took care of the myriad Thunder Valley in private. Normally, he would manage the return of Spring Chamber of Commerce outside the Imperial Thunder sect, but every time he returned, he would definitely come to the myriad Thunder Valley. Qian Diheng might not pay a visit to Zhua *****, or he might not look for Cui Hongshan, but Xiang Yang was someone he would definitely pay a visit to. This was because Xiaohua had entrusted him several hundred years ago. Xiang Yang was an honest person, and he shouldn't let others bully him. Therefore, before Xiaohua left, Qian Diheng might not have called Xiang Yang senior apprentice brother, but after Xiaohua left, he would call Xiang Yang senior apprentice brother. How about this? While Xiang Yang was pondering, Qian Diheng had already made a decision. He took out a golden silk soft armor and a jade slip from his bosom and handed them over to Xiang Yang. This little brother has no way to stop grandfather's decision. Since you want to fight, then let's fight. This is a magic treasure that this little one obtained this time. Originally, I wanted to give it to grandfather, but today I'll give it to you. This jade slip contains the refining technique. You should quickly comprehend and refine it. Although you might not be able to refine it completely, at least it can protect you from serious injuries. Remember, senior apprentice brother, you are definitely not Qian Ding's opponent. Go up and greet him a few times, then quickly admit defeat. With the protection of the spiritual armor, it won't be a big deal. While Qian Diheng was speaking, rumble. In the distant sky, a huge sound of thunder resounded. Tens of thousands of thunderbolts turned into thunderclouds and covered the Lei Mo mountain range. Then, amidst the thunderous roar, Fairy Xianhua's several hundred feet tall phantom appeared like a thunder god. Along with the flickering lightning, she opened her mouth and said, "Thunder control sect's disciples, Glancing at Fairy Xianhua's ostentatious thunder phantom, Qian Diheng coldly snorted and said, "What is an old beggar doing with a thunder dharma body?" Originally, she was still a middle-aged woman, but now, she has turned into an old chaff. Even if she were to strip naked and lie in front of me, I wouldn't even want to look at her. After speaking, Qian Diheng whispered to Xiang Yang, "Senior apprentice brother, this little brother is leaving. Many thanks, junior apprentice brother." Xiang Yang hurriedly cupped his hands to bid farewell. However, Qian Diheng had only flown a few feet when he hurriedly flew back. He raised his hand and threw out a few jade bottles and said, "Damn it, the old beggar spoiled my appetite. I almost forgot that these are healing pills. Quickly take them." P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please go to Qidian to subscribe to support, vote for a monthly vote for a recommendation vote, bookmark, gift, and thank you for all forms of support. Thank you to Guff85479885, Falling Flower Intent, Flowing Water, Cabbage, and other fellow Taoists for their support. Chapter 51-22. Okay. Xiang Yang took the jade bottle and smiled as he watched Qian Diheng leave in a hurry. "Senior brother." After Xiang Yang returned, Cui Hongshan smiled. "What did Qian Diheng reveal?" "Hee, nothing." Xiang Yang smiled and handed the jade bottle to Fang Liha. "He knows that my myriad Thunder Valley is going to fight against the 7 Thunder Palaces, so he sent some pills over. Martial uncle, please keep some for yourself." Fang Liha didn't take it and said to Xiang Yang first. Xiang Yang waved his hand. "I've already kept some, these are the rest." Fang Liha didn't doubt him and smiled. "Thank you, martial uncle." Fang Liha didn't open the jade bottle but respectfully handed it to Zhuohongshan, martial ancestor, "Please keep it." Zhuohongshan naturally wouldn't keep it for herself. She took the jade bottle with a smile and gave it to Zhen Quan, Fang Liha, and the others. As for Xiang Yang, he didn't pay attention to the myriad Thunder Valley. Instead, he turned to look at Fairy Xianhua on the Thunder Arena. Fairy Xianhua explained the matter of the 7 Thunders' shining sun in a few words and finally said, "Since my Imperial Thunder sect has the 7 Thunders' shining sun, it's enough to show the benevolence of the heavens. Therefore, I've decided to give all the branches that are about to be cleared a final chance. As long as they can resist the other 7 Thunder Palaces, this branch will continue to be preserved. Of course, this preservation will only last for 100 years. After 100 years, I'll still clear them according to the situation." Damn old beggar. After hearing this, even someone as honest as Xiang Yang couldn't help but curse. 100 years was a lifetime for mortals, but for cultivators, it was just a period of seclusion. The myriad Thunder Valley took out the Imperial Thunder sect's martial ancestor personally drafted the sect law, and Fairy Xianhua offered her authority as the sect master. Even if the myriad Thunder Valley won the 7 Thunders' shining sun, they would definitely be cleared out by Fairy Xianhua after 100 years. Xiang Yang turned his head and saw that everyone in the myriad Thunder Valley was surprised. However, they all nodded slightly. Even if it was 100 years, they would still be unyielding. Even if it was 100 years, they would still stubbornly resist. 100 years could be a breather, a turning point. After 100 years, It would depend on Wu Qing and the others. I'll give everyone the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. If you want to challenge the 7 lightnings shining sun, then go to the Thunder Arena. Fairy Xianhua's figure gradually dimmed. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, the 7 lightnings shining sun will begin. Boom! 100 bolts of lightning condensed into a pillar of lightning. At the top of the pillar was a ball of lightning that looked like a ball of fire. Within the ball of lightning, a dragon appeared. It circled around the ball of lightning while devouring the pillar of lightning. It was really like a lit candle. Let's go! Xiang Yang waved his hand and said, "We'll go to the thunder field now. Don't fall into the trap of others and delay us." Not bad. Zhua ****'s eyes were also filled with anger as he said, "Even if we die, we will die honorably." Xiang Yang smiled. As he flew to the Thunder Arena, he said, "Mistress, you're thinking too much. This is the Imperial Thunder Sect. How can there be life and death?" Cui Hongshan glanced at Xiang Yang and suddenly had an ominous premonition in his heart. Xiang Yang usually didn't speak much and he wouldn't respond to Zhua ****'s words. Today, he suddenly spoke a lot, which was different from usual. Thus, Cui Hongshan hurriedly reminded him, "Senior brother, this is the Thunder Arena. If you want to go to the Thunder Arena, you have to go through the Life and Death Arena." Cui Hongshan had just finished speaking when a rumbling sound was emitted from the empty space at the side of the Thunder Arena in front of everyone. The distorted light trembled as an emerald green light pillar rose. After the light pillar reached midair, it gradually agglomerated. When it agglomerated into the shape of a round ball, the dragon avatar above the lightning pillar that had agglomerated in the skies suddenly let out a furious roar. The enormous dragon head leaped across the sky and pounced on the round ball. Once the dragon head collided with it, a swoosh, the round ball began to slowly vibrate. It appeared just like a chicken being split open. A crack was formed in the middle of the ball. When the dragon head transformed into an emerald green brilliance and disappeared, the crack gradually split open after the brilliance disappeared. A flat, smooth surface like a bronze mirror appeared. Seeing the mirror surface appear, the expressions of everyone in the 10,000 Thunder Valley changed greatly. They looked at the oval mirror surface and the many runes engraved on the frame. Their bodies trembled and they all stopped in midair in surprise. Life and Death Arena. Zhua ***** gnashed his teeth and said, "Are you forcing or threatening my 10,000 Thunder Valley?" Following Zhua ****'s voice, the emerald green runes on the mirror surface of the Life and Death Arena flashed one after another. Light faintly flowed and an inexplicable fluctuation came from the mirror surface. It turned into a chill that rushed toward the people of the 10,000 Thunder Valley. "Ah!" Xiang Yang laughed and said, "Master's wife, whether you're forcing or threatening, could it be that the disciples of my 10,000 Thunder Valley are afraid?" "Good." A loud laugh came from the side of the Life and Death Arena. Kun Shun of the Earthly Thunder Palace came out from the light and held a triangular jade plate in his hand. He looked at the people of the 10,000 Thunder Valley and said, "It's rare for the 10,000 Thunder Valley to have such loyal disciples. Then sign this life and death contract and this old man will send you to the Thunder Plateau." "Hall Master Kun," Cui Hongshan said, "7 Thunder Flashing Sun didn't say that we have to sign a life and death contract." Kun Shin didn't hesitate and said with a smile, "But 7 Thunder Flashing Sun didn't say that we can't sign a life and death contract. Since we've entered the Thunder Plateau, we naturally have to sign a life and death contract." As he said this, lightning appeared under Kun Shin's feet and he streaked across the sky and landed in front of everyone. Seeing Fairy Xianhua put on a show of strength, the people of the 10,000 Thunder Valley were filled with righteous indignation. They looked at each other and nodded. Zhua **** asked, "If that's the case, should we sign it one by one or all of us?" "Naturally, we'll sign it one by one." Kun Shin raised the life and death contract and said, "Qian Ding of the Heavenly Thunder Palace has already signed the life and death contract. Whoever you want to fight the Heavenly Thunder Palace can sign it now." Qian Ding? Everyone was definitely stunned. Cui Hongshan couldn't help but cry out, Is Is it that Qian Ding who is known as the #1 person under nascent soul? That's right, it's him. Kunshan replied indifferently, how can my Imperial Thunder sect have 2 Qian Dings? Junior will fight Qian Ding. Xiang Yang very calmly raised his hand and took out his identity token. After he activated his magic power, a misty brilliance appeared on the token and entered one of the pure red corners. Where the brilliance fell, it was like a stone falling into water, creating a layer of ripples. When the brilliance calmed down, 3 black characters appeared on the pure red corner. They were the 2 words Xiang Yang. Husband. Yan Qinglian couldn't help but call out in a low voice. Xiang Yang nodded at her and said, when Li comes out of seclusion, tell him that his father is not a coward. Husband, don't worry. Yan Qinglian bit her lips and tried hard not to let her tears fall. She said, you will always be his role model. You wait here. Kunshan looked at the triangular jade plate in his hand. The 2 black characters had already appeared on it. He took it carefully and said to Zhua **** and the others, I will bring Xiang Yang into the Thunder Arena. After he fights with Qian Ding, I will come out to fight with the disciples of Earth Thunder Palace. After that, without waiting for Zhua **** and the others to answer, Kunshan rushed to the front of the Life and Death Temple with a flash of lightning under his feet. As Kunshan threw the Life and Death contract in his hand into the mirror, there was a swish sound, like the surface of the water being lifted. From the place where the Life and Death contract landed, there was a red and blue brilliance, and this brilliance was like a door opening. One side was red and the other side was blue, slowly moving to both sides. Xiang Yang didn't cause trouble, so naturally he had never entered the Thunder Arena. The only time he came in contact with the Thunder Arena was when Xiao Hua fought with Yen Xiefeng, a disciple of Swallow Thunder Ridge. Today, it was his turn, but he didn't have the slightest fear in his heart. Looking at the brilliance that was like a door, he lifted his foot and stepped into the blue door. Xiang Yang only felt his vision go black, and in an instant, there was a transmission pressure coming from all directions. However, in the blink of an eye, the pressure disappeared. When Xiang Yang fixed his eyes, he was inside a light screen that was flashing with a light blue brilliance. The countless lightning bolts on the light screen were the restriction outside the light screen. Qian Ding, Xiang Yang, after 10 breaths, there will be an illusion in the Thunder Arena. As for what illusion, I don't know. You can do whatever you want in this illusion, and all magic weapons will not be affected. Kunshan's voice was like the sound of nature. Of the 2 of you, one of you will die, one of you will admit defeat, and the other will accept. Other than that, no one can leave the Thunder Arena. Of course, your fight will be different from before. There will be no one else in the Thunder Arena. I will also leave the Thunder Arena, and all the disciples of the Imperial Thunder sect will be able to see. The head of the sect and the palace masters of the other 6 lightning palaces will be the judges. You can fight without worry. As Kunshan's voice disappeared, 10 breaths later, Xiang Yang only saw a bright light in front of him. It was an illusion of an undulating mountain range. At the end of the mountain peak, Qian Ding didn't hide his figure. He stood there like a towering mountain peak, looking at him proudly. Junior greets martial Uncle Qian. Seeing that the restriction around him had disappeared, Xiang Yang didn't immediately attack. Instead, he bowed and greeted. There's no need to do such superficial things. I won't fall for it. Qian Ding snorted coldly. His figure flashed, and his hands rubbed together. Bolts of lightning were produced. After the lightning disappeared into the void, circles of halos appeared a few hundred feet to the left of Xiang Yang. These halos were like ropes that imprisoned the space around Xiang Yang. Qian Ding pounced towards Xiang Yang along with the lightning. Facing Xiang Yang, who was only at the middle stage of the Golden Core stage, Qian Ding didn't even bother to use his magic weapon. He knew that he only needed to use magic to win. Whoosh! Several bolts of lightning surged out from Qian Ding's body. As Qian Ding formed hand seals, they were like venomous snakes that passed through the light barrier and approached Xiang Yang's chest. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please subscribe to it at Qidian, vote for it, vote for it, vote for it, give it as a reward, and Chapter 51-23. Damn it. Just as Kun Shun had said, Xiang Yang and Qian Ding's every move on the Thunder Arena fell into the eyes of the Imperial Thunder Sect's disciples. Seeing Qian Ding's ruthless attack, Cui Hongshan couldn't help but curse. This Qian Ding is indeed the number one person under the nascent soul stage. Not to mention eldest senior brother, even I wouldn't be his opponent. The hearts of the myriad Thunder Valley's disciples hung in suspense, but Qian Diheng was as steady as Mount Tai on the heavenly Thunder Palace's side. He understood that the spiritual armor he gave Xiang Yang was a very powerful defensive treasure. As long as Xiang Yang refined the spiritual armor and fought with his spiritual power, he would be in an undefeatable position. However, seeing that Qian Ding's attack had already landed in front of Xiang Yang and that Xiang Yang didn't even raise his hand, Qian Diheng was a little stunned and thought, how can eldest senior brother be so careless? This isn't his style. Thinking of this, a sudden premonition suddenly arose in his heart. Oh no, could it be that he, boom? Just as Qian Diheng had this thought, he saw Xiang Yang being sent flying by Qian Ding's move. Xiang Yang's not-so-tall corporeal body was like a fallen leaf being blown by the wind. Every time he rolled, there would be blood splattering out. Damn it! Qian Diheng cursed in a low voice, his face ashen. He wasn't wearing spiritual armor at all. He didn't plan to fight back at all. Eldest senior brother. Seeing Xiang Yang sent flying, Cui Hongshan cried out with heartache, why didn't you fight back? Why didn't you dodge? Qian Ding is the number one person under the nascent soul stage, but he can't hit you with one move. Junior brother Cui? Yan Qinglian's indifferent and calm voice sounded in Cui Hongshan's ears. Don't worry, as the saying goes, asking for the benevolent will get the benevolent. Your eldest senior brother didn't plan to come down from the Thunder Arena alive. If his death can arouse Fairy Xianhua's pity, if it can arouse the sympathy of the other 5 great lightning palaces, his death can be considered valuable to our myriad Thunder Valley. Senior sister? Cui Hongshan was stunned, and so was Duai Qimeng. They looked at each other, and their eyes were filled with sorrow and confusion. They felt that they already understood Xiang Yang, and they felt that they already had deep feelings for the 10,000 Thunder Valley. However, they still didn't understand the persistence in Xiang Yang's heart. They didn't understand the importance of the 10,000 Thunder Valley in Xiang Yang's heart. Xiang Yang could die, but the myriad Thunder Valley couldn't be lost. The myriad Thunder Valley was Xiang Yang's home. Not to mention the grief in the myriad Thunder Valley, all the disciples of the Imperial Thunder Sect were shocked. They all flew up and cried out in surprise, damn it! Gonding! Stop it! Xiang Yang, fight back! Unfortunately, Qian Ding couldn't hear the commotion outside. He was just gauging the stature of a gentleman with the yardstick of a villain. Seeing that Xiang Yang was easily sent flying by him, he was secretly delighted and hurriedly moved his body. While guarding against Xiang Yang's tricks, he waved his hand and a fist condensed from mana shot into the sky like the hand of a Yuaning. It swept through the chaotic mana around Xiang Yang and instantly struck towards Xiang Yang's body. Seeing that Xiang Yang was sent flying by the fist again and that the golden light around him was extremely dim, Qian Ding couldn't help but laugh loudly. Ha, you're just a disciple in the middle stage of the Golden Core realm. You dare to fight me? I'd like to see what kind of tricks you can play under my attack. While Qian Ding was laughing, his divine sense cautiously scanned the surrounding space, afraid that he would fall into Xiang Yang's trap. However, when Xiang Yang stubbornly stood in midair with blood in his mouth, Qian Ding suddenly came to a realization. He looked at Xiang Yang in disbelief and cried out, You? However, when he saw the calmness in Xiang Yang's eyes and the blood on Xiang Yang's robe, he instantly understood Xiang Yang's plan. A sinister smile appeared on his face again. You've got a good idea. Do you think I'll fall for your tricks? Don't try to act pitiful. I don't believe that you won't retaliate when I shatter your golden core. As he spoke, Qian Ding's body turned into a ray of light. He didn't need to use the Dharma treasure hidden in his robe. Instead, his fists rushed towards Xiang Yang's abdomen like meteors. Boom, boom, boom. Qian Ding's fists landed on Xiang Yang's body like raindrops. waves of Dharma power condensed into thin strands of crystal light that pierced into Xiang Yang's body. Kacha! Just as Xiang Yang's body was rolling helplessly, a sigh was produced between heaven and earth. Along with this sigh, a small cracking sound entered Qianding's ears. Although the sound was soft, it was like thunder, causing Qianding to feel a little dizzy. Damn it, you really don't want to live anymore? Qianding cursed softly and cried out, your golden core is already shattered. If you don't hurry and repair it, your lifespan will come to an end soon. I'm not even afraid of death. Why would I be afraid of my lifespan coming to an end? Xiang Yang's voice was hoarse. As he spoke, blood gushed out from his mouth. Qianding, today you and I will fight to the death. Qianding said angrily, you're forcing me. Think whatever you want. Xiang Yang looked up at the illusion on his left and laughed. I'm satisfied to die in such a beautiful scene. Oomph. Qianding snorted coldly. Then go to hell. As he spoke, another row of fist shadows fell. Boom boom boom. Xiang Yang was sent flying again. However, it was obvious that Qianding's strength was much weaker this time. If Xiang Yang fought with him, Qianding could kill him mercilessly. However, Xiang Yang didn't even retaliate, which put him in a difficult position. He knew that everything in the illusion could be seen by the disciples outside. He couldn't kill Xiang Yang in front of all the disciples of the Imperial Thunder Sect who didn't even fight back. Great-grandfather? Qianding couldn't help but whisper, are you really going to kill Xiang Yang? Crazy Heaven snorted coldly. I'm crazy. Why would I go against a golden core cultivator? I just want Qianding to teach the myriad Thunder Valley a lesson. I must win this battle. But Qianding is a ruthless person. Qianding complained. Great-grandfather, if you send him up, I'm afraid he'll cause trouble. Since he came to the Thunder Arena, he must be prepared to die. Crazy Heaven disagreed. If you want to protect the myriad Thunder Valley, how can you do it without paying a price? While they were talking, Xiang Yang was sent flying by Qianding several times. In the end, Qianding felt bored. He frowned and said, Xiang Yang, this is the Thunder Arena. Unless someone dies or admits defeat, the life and death view won't open. At this point, Qianding was stunned again. He shouted, I understand now. So that's what you're thinking? You want to force me to admit defeat? Ha, if that's the case, you're wrong. I'd rather beat you to death than admit defeat. Then, Qianding put two fingers together and pointed at Xiang Yang's heart. Under this point, Xiang Yang was bound to die. Qianding's move was not without probing and coercion. He wanted Xiang Yang to admit defeat, but he underestimated Xiang Yang's stubbornness. When Xiang Yang saw Qianding's fingers stabbing at him faster than a flying sword, a relaxed and relieved expression appeared on his face. Damn it! Qianding's hand had already touched Xiang Yang's heart. Just a slight push and he would have killed Xiang Yang. However, at this critical moment, Qianding couldn't bring himself to do it. He retracted his fingers and punched Xiang Yang's chest. Xiang Yang was sent flying again. Qianding could not remember how many times Xiang Yang had been sent flying. He said in a low voice, Xiang Yang, I'm tired. Just admit defeat. I'll send you out of the Thunder Arena. Xiang Yang only glanced at Qianding indifferently and did not answer. Outside the Thunder Arena, Thunder Talisman's spiritual master could no longer watch. He flew to Fairy Xianhua and said, Sect Master, Xiang Yang is about to be killed by Qianding. Quickly pass down the order. Since you dare to come to the Thunder Arena, you can't be afraid of death. Every year, the number of Imperial Thunder Sect's disciples who die in the Thunder Arena is not small. Fairy Xianhua's face sank as she replied, Don't think I don't know. This is a trick of the Imperial Thunder Sect. They want to use Xiang Yang's death to exchange for victory in the next few battles. You. Thunder Talisman's spiritual master stomped his feet and said with gritted teeth, Can't you be a little more humane? Think more for the pitiful children of the myriad Thunder Valley? Fairy Xianhua sneered, I think for them? Who will think for me? I just want to clean up the redundant palace branches. Why are they so disruptive? While the two were talking, Cui Hongshan and Zhua Hongshan flew over again. When the guards led them to Fairy Xianhua, they knelt down and begged, "Sect Master, my myriad Thunder Valley has lost this battle. Please show mercy and issue the Sect Master's order to open the Thunder Arena and let Xiang Yang out. If this continues, Xiang Yang will be beaten to death." Fairy Xianhua opened her mouth, still wanting to berate the two of them. However, when she saw Xiang Yang being sent flying like a rock, she smiled bitterly in her heart and replied, "You are also disciples of the Imperial Lightning Sect. Don't you know the rules of the Thunder Arena? If no one dies, no one admits defeat, the life and death arena will never be opened." "Disciple understands, disciple understands," Zhuo Hongshan hurriedly replied, "but this Thunder Arena is just an array. Could it be that Sect Master can't open it?" Fairy Xianhua nodded and said, "This Thunder Arena is connected to the Imperial Thunder Sect's sect protecting Grand Array. It borrows the power of the Thunder Pool. If you want to open the Thunder Arena, you have to remove the sect protecting Grand Array. Do you think I have the means to do so?" "Sect Master?" Chui Hongshan's face was ashen, but he still didn't give up and shouted, "Sect Master can send a voice transmission to Qian Ding to stop. If I send a voice transmission to Qian Ding to stop, why don't you send a voice transmission to Xiang Yang?" Fairy Xianhua replied, "Of course, the premise is that voice transmissions can be sent in the Thunder Arena. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please subscribe to it at Qidian, vote for it, give it a recommendation vote, collect it, and give it a tip." Chapter 51-24. Unfortunately, if it was before, there would be a judge watching from the illusion. But now, because of the 7 lightnings shining sun. Fairy Xianhua continued to explain, "My Imperial Thunder Sect's disciples are all judges. Only Qian Ding and Xiang Yang are on the Thunder Field. If Xiang Yang didn't admit defeat, this battle would never have had the chance to stop. But if Xiang Yang didn't admit defeat, then it would be a test of Qian Ding's patience." "Sect Master?" Zhuo *** said with a sobbing tone, "Is there no other way? This is the death trap Xiang Yang set for himself." Fairy Xianhua replied faintly, "The only thing that can prevent him from dying is himself." But how could Zhuo *** not know what Xiang Yang was thinking? If Xiang Yang had decided on a direction, even if he hit a wall, he would never turn back. That year, Xiang Yang stayed in the myriad Thunder Valley. Now, on the Thunder Field, it was the same. Zhuo *** turned to look at the Thunder Field. At this time, Qian Ding had lost his patience again and started to attack. Xiang Yang's golden core had been shattered, and his previous resistance had disappeared. There was not much difference between him and a defenseless mortal. If Qian Ding was a little ruthless, Xiang Yang would die. Zhuo *** was already in despair. Chui Hongshan's heart was also cold. The tens of thousands of Imperial Thunder Sect's disciples were also somewhat sad. Among the tens of thousands of people, only Yan Qinglian's face was calm. She even had a tranquil smile on her face. She wanted to use a smile to send off her husband on his last journey. At this critical moment, in the distant mountains, hundreds of dark clouds rapidly gathered in the sky. Boom, boom, boom. Bursts of thunderous sounds rang out from the dark clouds. Layers of lightning poured down from the sky like water, rushing into the depths of the Lei Mo Mountains. Without waiting for the lightning to fall, a strong hurricane was set off 1,000 feet high in the sky. The center of these hurricanes was a small virtual point. As these hurricanes grew stronger, the virtual point gradually revealed a shiny silver-white light spot. As soon as this light spot appeared, it immediately condensed and enlarged. In an instant, it had become the size of a grain of rice. Buzz, buzz, buzz. A deafening sound that sounded like the groans of gods and ghosts came from the void. At the same time, a stream of pressure gushed out from the depths of the hurricane, surging toward the group of disciples along the Lei Mo mountain range. When the pressure reached the group of disciples, it was already very faint. In the eyes of Fairy Xianhua, Reverend Lei Meng and the others, it was still very weak. However, the lightning aura within the pressure was extremely peculiar. When it fell into their perception, it immediately caused them to be astonished. Pregnant? Fairy Xianhua's face lit up with joy. She couldn't be bothered to waste any more time with Shui Yifan. She hastily stood up and exclaimed, "Which disciple is pregnant?" Everyone was shocked and turned to look at the source of the pressure. As the lightning flashed, the crystal in the hurricane grew bigger and bigger. It didn't stop growing until it was the size of a thumb. Then, it grew until it was the size of half a fist. The extraordinary crystal was still surrounded by a huge whirlpool. The whirlpool produced a great suction force and drew the spiritual qi of heaven and earth into the crystal. Tens of thousands of rays of light fell on the silver-white crystal, refracting a gorgeous brilliance. It looked extremely beautiful. "Whose disciple is this?" Fairy Xianhua's eyes lit up as she whispered, "How can an ordinary pregnant baby be so big and condense so much spiritual qi of heaven and earth? If such a disciple succeeds in her pregnancy, how can an ordinary nascent soul cultivator be her opponent?" However, before Fairy Xianhua's surprise faded, at this critical moment, hundreds of dark clouds rapidly gathered in the distant mountain range. Boom, boom, boom. Bursts of thunderous sounds rang out from the dark clouds. Layers of lightning poured down from the sky like water, rushing into the depths of the Mo mountain range. This location was opposite the previous location, less than 100 li away. All the disciples of the Imperial Thunder sect cried out in alarm. How come another disciple is pregnant? Moreover, the two pregnant babies are so close to each other. Won't the phenomena of the pregnant babies interfere with each other? Sure enough, as the pressure was generated, another crystal that was not inferior to the previous one also appeared, completely covering the area within 100 li. However, what was strange was that at the place where these crystals overlapped, there were strands of lightning that looked like strands of hair between the two crystals. When the lightning fell into the crystals, waves of flowing light intersected with each other. Not only did the crystals not collapse, but they grew even larger. Quickly look at those thunderclouds. Taoist crazed heaven swept his gaze over and pointed to the sky. What is going on? When the nascent soul elders heard this, they looked past the crystals and into the sky. At this moment, the thunderclouds that covered the sky did not scatter, nor did they interfere with each other. Instead, they rapidly twisted and formed two huge whirlpools. Although the two whirlpools rotated in opposite directions, their tails connected together as if they were one. Boom, boom. While everyone was dumbfounded, the first bolt of tribulation lightning that was born from the nascent soul after the upheaval struck down. This first bolt of tribulation lightning was followed by two bolts, falling down at the same time. When the previous thunderclouds appeared, they had already torn apart the sect's protective formation. Now, where the lightning tribulation passed, the formation's brilliance disappeared as if it was crushing dry weeds. At the place where the lightning tribulation landed, the space had already been sealed. The disciples of the Imperial Thunder sect could not detect it with their spiritual sense. However, everyone's heart was in suspense, fearing that after the lightning tribulation, the tribulation clouds would dissipate. Fortunately, it was only a moment. Boom, boom. Another two bolts of tribulation lightning fell at the same time. After the 3 bolts of tribulation lightning, the nascent soul pressure that was released previously began to converge. The crystal floating in the sky was drawn into the Mo mountains along with the pressure. Woo-woo. A strange sound fell from the sky. After the previous tribulation clouds collapsed, they turned into fragments and fell into the depths of the Mo mountains like a funnel. In just half the time it took to drink a cup of tea, the previous thousands of strange phenomena disappeared like a whirlwind. The setting sun scattered like blood. Everyone squinted their eyes and looked at the red clouds, waiting for the appearance of the new nascent soul master of the Imperial Thunder sect. Among the crowd, the corner of Thundermang Daoist's mouth curled into a cold smile. His eyes were filled with joy. Haha. A burst of wild laughter, even more arrogant than the previous coercion, appeared along with the setting sun. A slightly thin and tall figure stepped on the clouds in the blood-red glow. I'm also a nascent soul grandmaster. This daddy wants to see who dares to challenge this daddy in the future. Hee hee. After the maniacal laughter, a slightly shy voice rang out like a soft pipa. After that, there was no more movement. However, right beside the tall and skinny figure, a pretty figure stood behind the tall and skinny figure's shadow and flew over like a shadow. In just a moment, the two new nascent soul masters had already turned into rainbows and landed not far from the crowd. The one in the lead was a man with a lazy smile on his face. Although his eyes were filled with craftiness, the aura of an early nascent soul cultivator rushed out uncontrollably like sword light. This man looked 70% like Xiang Yang and 30% like Yan Qinglian. Wasn't he Xiao Hua's adopted son, Xiang Zhili? Xiang Zhili's divine sense spread out. Seeing so many Imperial Thunder Sect disciples looking at him, he didn't feel any uneasiness. Instead, he was surprised and said, What's going on? Do you all know that this daddy is pregnant today? Are you all actually waiting here to pay your respects to this daddy? The female cultivator behind Xiang Zhili was naturally Cui Yingying. Cui Yingying was more beautiful than Dui Qiming, and her eyes had the tenacity and heroic spirit of Cui Hongshan. However, she was currently hiding behind Xiang Zhili shyly, sneaking glances at the crowd. Senior martial brother, Grandmaster is there. My father is there too. Cui Yingying's sharp eyes had already seen Cui Hongshan and Zhua *****. I see them. Xiang Zhili was somewhat impatient, just like when he berated his junior martial sister who had snot dripped from her nose when they were young. Lei Meng Daoist is also there. That old fellow is probably the sect master of the Imperial Thunder Sect now. Who's at the Thunder Arena? Previously, Xiang Zhili and Cui Yingying's nascent soul lightning tribulation had affected the Imperial Thunder Sect's sect protection array. The Thunder Arena was also affected, and the illusion realm flashed, separating Qian Ding and Xiang Yang. Now that the lightning tribulation had passed, the Imperial Thunder Sect's sect protection array was slowly mending, and the illusion realm of the Thunder Arena was once again revealed. At this time, Qian Ding had already lost his patience. His figure swayed, and he passed through the layers of illusions, pouncing towards Xiang Yang. Damn it! Daddy! Seeing that his daddy was on the verge of death in the illusion realm, Xiang Zhili's eyes were about to crack. He shouted, Who dares to touch my daddy? I'll exterminate his entire sect. Junior martial sister, her? Okay. Cui Yingying agreed without hesitation. The two of them transformed into two rainbows and rushed into the Thunder Arena. Stop. Fairy Xianhua frowned and said in a rather dignified manner. Fairy Xianhua didn't intend to stop Xiang Zhili and Cui Yingying from saving Xiang Yang. In her eyes, the illusion of the Thunder Arena couldn't be broken. Xiang Zhili and Cui Yingying didn't come to greet her, the sect master, but instead did something useless. This made her really unhappy, so she casually shouted. Unfortunately, Xiang Zhili was already anxious. He only had his daddy in his eyes. He didn't even look at her and scolded, Scram! Where did this old beggar come from? Whoever dares to stop me, I'll exterminate them. Damn it! Fairy Xianhua was furious. Xiang Zhili, you dare to look down on me like this? What crime do you dare to commit? Fairy Xianhua raised her hand, and was about to use the nascent soul hand. Unfortunately, before she could use her magic power, Zhua Hongshan and Cui Hongshan had already flown up and blocked in front of her. Lei Meng Daoist also raised his hand, and his magic power was also produced. It seemed that as long as Fairy Xianhua made a move, he would definitely make a move. At this moment, under the full power of Xiang Zhili and Cui Yingying, the two of them had already landed on the Thunder Arena. The two of them looked at each other, then raised their hands at the same time and grabbed towards the sky. Rumble! Hundreds of lightning bolts appeared out of thin air, transforming into a horned dragon and falling towards the lightning ball on the Thunder Arena. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please subscribe to it at Qidian, vote for it, give it a recommendation vote, collect it, and give it a tip. Thank you for all forms of support.